Chapter 227. Surrender without putting up a fight. Hearing the captain's words, Mo Qingyun looked at him with disdain and said indifferently, "With just you guys?" Mo Qingyun did not plan to keep a low profile when he came to Pink City this time. In his opinion, he wanted to establish his own force in the 100 Countries battlefield, and Pink City would be the first stop of his plan. Therefore, he decided to appear in this Pink City in the most domineering manner, allowing his prestige to be established in an extremely short period of time. Since you guys refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit, don't blame us for being ruthless. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the captain's face darkened and he said coldly, "The purple eye, everyone says how powerful you are, but I, Zhang Tianming, don't believe it. Today, I will let everyone know that the purple eye is just an ant in front of me. All of you, act immediately and take them down." As soon as Zhang Tianming finished speaking, he ordered the 20 guards behind him to take down Long Yutian and the others. After giving the order, Zhang Tianming revealed an arrogant expression. He looked at Mo Qingyun and sneered, "The purple eye, I will now show you my true strength. In Pink City, no one has made me use my true strength. I hope you won't disappoint me." Hearing Zhang Tianming's words, the surrounding people looked at him as if he was an idiot. What bullshit is this Zhang Tianming's true strength? A guy at true energy realm level 5 dares to provoke the purple eye so arrogantly. Idiot, even Zhu Feng couldn't take a hit from the purple eye. He actually wants to show the purple eye his true strength. The reason why he is so arrogant is mainly because he did not see the scene where the purple-eyed demon monarch killed Zhu Feng. Haha, I really want to see what kind of expression he will have when he sees the purple-eyed devil monarch strength. Of course, he will piss his pants and his legs will go soft. At this moment, the surrounding people revealed looks of disdain as they mocked Zhang Tianming. Zhu Feng, when the surrounding people's words entered Zhang Tianming's ears, Zhang Tianming's face immediately twitched. Fear rose in his heart as he thought, Zhu Feng, could it be the blood spear Zhu Feng of the Spear Kingdom? While Zhang Tianming was panicking, the guards beside him had already started fighting with Long Yutian and the others. "You guys came at the right time. Let me familiarize myself with my new weapon." Long Yutian smiled faintly as he looked at the guards charging towards him. He took out the scarlet blood spear and said coldly, "Now, let me use your blood to seal my new weapon, the scarlet blood spear." Heavenly Dragon Elephant Spear. Long Yutian held the crimson blood spear in his hand and spun it behind his back. A fiery wheel of spear shadow swept towards the guards around him. The spear's shadow, which was like a wheel of wind and fire, pierced out. It carried the power of a dragon and elephant and blasted towards the guards with a barbaric and violent momentum. Bang! Bang! Under Long Yutian's attack, a few guards were sent flying. Their armor cracked and blood flowed out of their wounds. They were all lying on the ground, breathing heavily. They did not have long to live. Thousand Illusion Ice Sword, soul-devouring demonic wheel, 10 Directions Spiritual Sword Dance. When Long Yutian attacked, Lu Fengliang and the others did not hesitate and attacked one after another, displaying their powerful combat strength. Under the attacks of Lu Fengliang and the others, the guard were like chickens and dogs. Half of them were killed in an instant. Seeing this scene, Zhang Tianming's face immediately turned pale and a strong sense of fear rose in his heart. Too strong. These guys in front of him were too strong. More importantly, he saw the spear in Long Yutian's hand. It seemed to be Blood Spear, Zhu Feng's Scarlet Blood Spear. That's the Scarlet Blood Spear? Zhang Tianming's face immediately twitched. He looked at Mo Qingyun in horror and asked, The Scarlet Blood Spear? How? How could it be in his hands? Zhu Feng? Are you talking about that guy, just now?" Hearing Zhang Tianming's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He smiled faintly and said, "That guy attacked us just now and was killed by me. This Scarlet Blood Spear naturally became my spoils of war." Spoils of war. Zhu Feng was dead. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Zhang Tianming's face turned even paler and his legs became weak. Zhu Feng was killed by Mo Qingyun. How could he be Mo Qingyun's opponent? If that was the case, Mo Qingyun's terrifying strength was not a rumor, but a real freak. Thinking of this, Zhang Tianming panicked. He smiled apologetically at Mo Qingyun and said, This, brother, just now was a misunderstanding. I was just joking with you. I hope you don't take it to heart. Joking? Hearing Zhang Tianming's words, the expressions of the surrounding people immediately changed. They felt contempt for him. This guy was a typical case of loud thunder, but small raindrops. His arrogant attitude just now was simply insufferably arrogant. But in the blink of an eye, this guy instantly became a coward. Brother? Hearing Zhang Tianming's words, Mo Qingyun looked at him with disdain and said, You are not worthy of being my brother. Replying Zhang Tianming with disdain, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold. He said to Zhang Tianming, Didn't you say that you, Zhang Tianming, have not fought with your full strength for a long time and wanted me to see your true strength? You hope I won't disappoint you? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Zhang Tianming was speechless. His expression was panicked to the extreme. He did not know how to answer Mo Qingyun. How could he know that Mo Qingyun's strength would be so terrifying? Even a powerful person like Zhu Feng was killed by him. One had to know that Zhu Feng's strength was enough to destroy the entire Pink City. Such a powerful person was not someone Zhang Tianming could compare to. No matter how powerful Zhang Tianming was, he could only be a little arrogant in a small city like Pink City. If he had known earlier, he would not have dared to be arrogant in front of Mo Qingyun, even if he had 10,000 guts. Since you have nothing to say, let me send you on your way. Seeing that Zhang Tianming was silent for a long time, Mo Qingyun did not have the patience to dawdle with him. He raised his hand and took out the red silk saber and slashed at Zhang Tianming. When Mo Qingyun slashed with his saber, his body released the third-level fire esoteric power and a mysterious aura. Don't kill me. Feeling the horrifying aura on Mo Qingyun's body, Zhang Tianming's expression immediately twitched. He said with a look of horror, You can't kill me. My big brother is Pink City's deputy city lord, Zhang Tianji. If you kill me, my big brother won't let you off. So what if he's the deputy city lord? Hearing Zhang Tianming's words, Mo Qingyun glanced at him with disdain and said coldly, Don't mention that your big brother is just a vice city lord. Even if your big brother was the true city lord, he wouldn't be able to save you today. After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he waved the red silk saber in his hand without hesitation and decisively slashed at Zhang Tianming. When the red silk saber slashed down, it released a shocking saber light. It was like a violent flood that rushed towards Zhang Tianming. Clear-heart swordsmanship. Facing Mo Qingyun's slash, Zhang Tianming did not dare to hesitate and immediately counterattacked. Then, Zhang Tianming slashed with his sword. The long sword in his hand released a weak saber light. This saber light was so weak that it could not even be compared to the full force attack of a level 3 true energy realm martial artist. This scene surprised Mo Qingyun. Zhang Tianming dared to be so arrogant with this little ability. When the saber light and the sword light collided, the sword light was immediately devoured by the saber light and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Bang! Then, the fire dragon saber light slammed into Zhang Tianming's body and sent him flying. Pooh! After Zhang Tianming landed on the ground, he spat out a mouthful of blood and his face became extremely pale. How did this happen? Seeing that he had been underestimated and defeated, Zhang Tianming's face was filled with disbelief. He said in shock, When the guards fought with me, they clearly said that my sword energy was extremely powerful and that I could even fight against a level 8 true energy realm martial artist. How did I lose in the first exchange? He could fight against a level 8 true energy realm martial artist. Hearing Zhang Tianming's words, Mo Qingyun shook his head helplessly and looked at Zhang Tianming sympathetically. He understood the reason for Zhang Tianming's arrogance. Presumably, it was because of Zhang Tianming's identity as the elder brother that some of the guards would purposely let him win when they sparred with him. Moreover, after deliberately losing they would still brag about Zhang Tianming's strength, causing Zhang Tianming's self-confidence to explode. The funny thing was that Zhang Tianming actually believed it to be true and was even proud of it. It was really sad. Looking at Zhang Tianming sympathetically, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He raised his saber and ended Zhang Tianming's life. "Boss, it's all done." When Mo Qingyun killed Zhang Tianming, Ling Luo and the rest also finished off the guards and came to Mo Qingyun's side. "Let's go to the mayor's mansion." Seeing that Ling Luo and the rest had arrived, Mo Qingyun instructed them and stood up to walk forward. "Go to the mayor's mansion." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Luo and the rest were puzzled and looked at Mo Qingyun in confusion. Chapter 228. It was time for Pink City to have a new owner. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Ling Luo and the others' expressions changed. They were surprised by Mo Qingyun's idea. Could it be that Mo Qingyun wanted to take over Pink City and replace the previous city lord to become the new city lord? At this moment, while Long Yutian and the others were surprised, Ling Luo's eyes suddenly lit up. He seemed to have understood Mo Qingyun's idea. Then, Ling Luo's face was filled with admiration. He gave Mo Qingyun a thumbs up and said, "Boss, you're really the boss. You're really on a different level. We're only chasing after girls to get them. Boss, you're planning to have both the girls and the city." Both the girls and the city? Hearing Ling Luo's words, Mo Qingyun was stunned. For a moment, he didn't understand Ling Luo's meaning. "Boss, stop pretending. Let me learn a few moves from you." Seeing Mo Qingyun's puzzled expression, Ling Luo winked at Mo Qingyun and analyzed. "Boss, if you become Pink Lady's man, then you'll be the City Lord's man. In that case, Pink City will naturally be yours. If you're not having both the girls and the city, then what is?" Amazing, really amazing. The City Lord man. Hearing Ling Luo's words, Mo Qingyun was immediately depressed. He knew that Ling Luo had misunderstood his meaning. He explained, "Ling Luo, what I meant is not what you think." "Boss, I understand." Seeing Mo Qingyun's explanation, Ling Luo winked at Mo Qingyun again and said, "As the saying goes, a gentleman wants a fair lady, but a hero has a weakness for the charms of a beautiful woman. This is very normal." Hearing Ling Luo's twisted logic, Mo Qingyun immediately retreated. He didn't want to continue discussing this topic with him. He knew that talking to Ling Luo about this was definitely not a wise thing to do. Then, Mo Qingyun didn't say anything else. He walked to the front and put some distance between him and Ling Luo. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had distanced himself from him, Ling Luo did not dare to continue pestering him. Instead, he walked towards Long Yutian. In his opinion, he and Long Yutian had more in common on this issue. After that, Long Yutian became Mo Qingyun's replacement. His expression instantly turned gloomy. Fortunately, the City Lord's mansion was not far away, and they soon arrived. Seeing that they had arrived at the mayor's mansion, Long Yutian's expression relaxed. He could finally get away. Upon seeing the City Lord's mansion, Ling Luo walked up with a smile on his face. He shouted into the City Lord's mansion, "Lady Pink, my boss has fallen in love with you and has decided to make you his woman. Please come out and meet him." Puff! As soon as Ling Luo said this, Long Yutian immediately spat out the wine in his mouth. As for Mo Qingyun, he was completely dumbfounded. He was speechless at Ling Luo's actions. Then, Mo Qingyun lifted his right foot and kicked Ling Luo's butt. He said, "Get lost. Don't talk nonsense here." Mo Qingyun really couldn't take it anymore. After being kicked by Mo Qingyun, Ling Luo showed a wronged expression. He said sarcastically, "Boss, don't kick my butt. My butt hasn't been kicked by anyone before." When he said this, Ling Luo even subconsciously raised his hand to touch his butt. That look of his was extremely wretched. Puff, cough, cough, cough. Seeing Ling Luo's actions, Long Yutian spat out another mouthful of wine and coughed continuously. He stared at Ling Luo with wide eyes. Then, Long Yutian didn't hesitate. He immediately took the wine jug and walked to the side, keeping a distance from Ling Luo. After long, Yu Qian walked to the side. Ruoxue and Lu Fangliang also unconsciously distanced themselves from Ling Luo. From now on, they didn't recognize Ling Luo. This guy was too invincible. How dare you insult the city lord? Do you want to die? At this moment, when everyone was distancing themselves from Ling Luo, a group of guards rushed out of the city lord's mansion. They all glared at Mo Qingyun and the others with dark expressions. Scram or die. Looking at the guards in front of him, Mo Qingyun didn't want to waste time with them. He directly said this coldly. Arrogant brat, you're courting death. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the guards' faces immediately darkened. Without any hesitation, they raised their hands and charged at Mo Qingyun. Seeing the guards charging at him, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate. He took out his red silk saber and slashed at the guards. Bang, bang, bang. Mo Qingyun's saber slashed down. A shocking saber radiance flashed past in an instant. Then, the guards were forcefully sent flying. In one move, more than 10 guards were seriously injured and lost their ability to fight. Who's this guy? How? How can he be so terrifying? How did Pink City offend such a guy? What is he doing in Pink City? Is he here for revenge? Let's run. It's good enough that we're still alive. In an instant, the guards didn't dare to hesitate. They immediately ran for their lives, as if they had seen a ghost. Mo Qingyun didn't care about the guards' actions and continued walking into the city lord's mansion. After a short while, Mo Qingyun and the others walked into the city lord's mansion. How dare you? How dare you behave so atrociously in the city lord's mansion? Are you tired of living? At this moment, when Mo Qingyun and the others walked into the city lord's mansion, a wild and arrogant voice came from the city lord's mansion's conference hall. Then, Mo Qingyun saw a group of people walking out from the city lord's mansion's conference hall and came in front of them. Among these people, the leader was a beautiful lady in a pink brocade robe. Her skin was smooth and delicate. Her beauty was comparable to Ruoxue's. However, this lady belonged to the seductive type, while Ruoxue belonged to the proud snow plum blossom type. After sizing up the lady, Mo Qingyun guessed her identity. She should be the city lord of Pink City. It was indeed as Ling Luo had said. She was an extremely beautiful lady. Moreover, she was so seductive that one couldn't help but want to protect her. It's you guys who are behaving atrociously in the city lord's mansion. While Mo Qingyun was sizing up Pink City, the person who had spoken earlier looked at Mo Qingyun and the others with disdain and said arrogantly, "If you know what's good for you, kneel down and kowtow to admit your mistakes. Then break your own legs and crawl out of the city lord's mansion. If you do that, I, Zhang Tianji, will show mercy and spare your worthless lives today." Zhang Tianji? This person was called Zhang Tianji. Didn't that mean that he was the big brother that Zhang Tianming had mentioned earlier? They were indeed brothers. Their personalities were equally arrogant. Hearing Zhang Tianji's words, Ling Luo immediately showed disdain. He glanced at Zhang Tianji and said, "So you're Zhang Tianming's big brother, Zhang Tianji. You're at the peak of the 6th level true energy realm. You don't seem to be much. Kid, you're not big, but you talk big." Hearing Ling Luo's mocking words, Zhang Tianji's face immediately darkened. He said, "A 5th level true energy realm kid dares to talk big in front of me. Since that's the case, I'll let you know that I'm strong enough to kill you." "Sure, I'd like to see how you're going to kill me." Seeing that Zhang Tianji was charging towards him, Ling Luo smiled faintly and said to Mo Qingyun playfully, "Boss, I'll take this fly to one side first so that he won't affect your conversation with Pink City." After that, Ling Luo's body moved, and he began to fight against Zhang Tianji. As they fought, he was not at a disadvantage in the slightest. This kid is so strong. With his 5th level true energy realm cultivation, he can actually fight Vice City Lord Zhang head on. Seeing that Ling Luo had made his move, the expressions of the people beside Pink City immediately changed. They were shocked by Ling Luo's strength. That kid said that this person is his boss. Doesn't that mean that this young man is stronger than him? At this moment, another person spoke. As soon as this person finished speaking, the expressions of Pink City and the others immediately changed. They looked at Mo Qingyun in awe. However, when Rouge Fin looked at Mo Qingyun again, she suddenly frowned and revealed a shocked expression. She exclaimed, "You're the purple-eyed devil monarch?" "The purple eye? What? The young man in front of us is the purple eye." Hearing Pink City's words, the expressions of the people beside her immediately changed. They looked at Mo Qingyun in horror. The purple eye's fierce name had been in the limelight recently. It could be said that there was no one in the 100 countries battlefield who did not know about him. Who would have thought that purple-eyed Devil King and the rest would be in Pink City and standing right in front of them? That's right. Seeing that Pink City had recognized him, Mo Qingyun did not intend to hide his identity. He nodded and admitted his identity. Then he said to Pink City and the others, "I'll give you a choice now. Submit to me or die. From now on, you have 10 breaths of time to consider." Mo Qingyun did not want to waste time talking nonsense with these people. He went straight to the point and told them his intentions. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Pink City and the others' expressions immediately changed. Intense anger appeared on their faces. Mo Qingyun's current behavior was too arrogant. However, considering Mo Qingyun's fierce name, Pink City and the others did not dare to directly attack Mo Qingyun. Soon after, Pink City and the others frowned and pondered in their hearts. They were hesitant. 10 breaths of time passed in the blink of an eye. Seeing that time was up, Mo Qingyun looked coldly at Pink City and the others and said indifferently, "Time's up. Have you made your decision?" At this moment, just as Mo Qingyun landed, a LV5 True Energy Realm person beside Pink City said disdainfully, "The purple eye, although you're fierce, it's impossible for me, Tai Han's Han, to submit to you and work with a crazy demon like you. If you have the ability, then kill me." Iceberg 10,000 caddies. After Tai Han's Han finished speaking, he swung his giant hammer at Mo Qingyun. It seemed that he wanted to perish together with Mo Qingyun. "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Seeing that Tai Han was about to attack him, Mo Qingyun's face darkened and he attacked aggressively. "I Power Ray." At this moment, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and directly shot out an eye power ray. Puff! As soon as the eye power ray was shot out, it pierced through Tai Han Shan's head and killed him instantly. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's idea was to make an example of Tai Han's Han to intimidate Pink City and the others. One move, Tai Han's Han, who was at LV5 True Energy Realm, died. After seeing this scene, the surrounding people all sucked in a breath of cold air. The reverence in their eyes when they looked at Mo Qingyun immediately became stronger. "I'm willing to submit to you." After pondering for a while, Pink City bit her lips and made a difficult decision. From Mo Qingyun's decisive action just now, Rouge Fin knew that Mo Qingyun would definitely not do anything to her just because of her looks. If she didn't agree, she would most likely end up like Tai Han's Han, dying in the process. Very well. You'll understand in the future that your decision is wise. Chapter 229. We are also willing to submit. When they heard Mo Qingyun's question, their expressions twitched, and they hurriedly nodded in response. Pink, who was the most powerful among them, immediately submitted to Mo Qingyun's ferocious power. If they continued to resist, they would basically be courting death. They knew clearly that once they expressed their unwillingness, they would become the second Tai Han's Han. Of course, they had their own plans at this moment. They were all thinking that they would pretend to submit and save their lives first. Then, they would leave quietly and inform the 10 kingdoms of Mo Qingyun's whereabouts. By then, they would be able to receive a hefty reward. This was simply killing many birds with one stone. After thinking about it this way, a hint of treachery appeared in the eyes of the few people at the side, and a sinister smile appeared on their faces. Mo Qingyun had a panoramic view of everyone's expressions at this moment. After seeing this, a playful smile appeared on his face. He knew very well what these people were thinking. Then, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He smiled faintly at the crowd and said, "Since you are willing to submit, then release your souls and let me plant a soul-absorbing mark in your souls. This way, I can guarantee that you are truly willing to submit to me." "What? You want to plant a soul-absorbing mark in my soul? Are you trying to refine us into puppets? If that's the case, what's the point of living? This is too much. I will never agree to this request. I will never agree to it, even if I die." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, a few people immediately voiced their dissatisfaction. After seeing their reactions, Mo Qingyun's face immediately darkened, and he said coldly, "If you don't agree, then you can all go to hell." In order to avoid any future rebellions, Mo Qingyun had to cut off any possibility of such a thing happening. Mo Qingyun would never allow those who pretended to submit to him and wanted to betray him at any time to live. "I power ray." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished his words, he immediately released a ray of I power that bombarded the few of them. Chi. Under Mo Qingyun's attack, these people were unable to resist at all and were killed by him in a domineering manner. Not long after, there were a few more corpses on the ground. Hiss! So brutal. Seeing Mo Qingyun kill the few people in such a domineering manner, the remaining few people's faces twitched as they sucked in a breath of cold air. Looking at the respectful expressions of the people in front of him, Mo Qingyun revealed a trace of satisfaction. The effect of killing the chicken to warn the monkey had been achieved. Mo Qingyun did not say anything else. He looked directly at Hongfun and said in a deep voice, "Hongfun, let's start with you." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Hongfun's pretty face changed, revealing a trace of bitterness. She felt wronged and said, "Yes." At this moment, Hongfun could not help but feel a blow in her heart. All along, she had been proud of her looks. But at this moment, in front of Mo Qingyun, it actually did not have the slightest effect. In a short while, Mo Qingyun planted a soul-assimilating imprint in Hongfun's soul. Seeing that even Hongfun was not spared, the other people's wishful thinking was instantly dispelled. Compared to Hongfun, they did not have the slightest advantage. Mo Qingyun was not lenient to a beauty like Hongfun, let alone them. Following that, the remaining people planted a soul-assimilating imprint in Mo Qingyun one by one. With this, Pink City was completely under Mo Qingyun's control. Subordinate Hongfun greets Master. After being planted with the soul-assimilating imprint by Mo Qingyun, Hongfun and the rest showed respect and bowed to Mo Qingyun. "All of you rise." Seeing everyone's actions, Mo Qingyun nodded his head in satisfaction, indicating that they did not need to be so courteous. "Thank you, Master." Hongfun and the rest thanked Mo Qingyun and slowly stood up. Their faces were full of respect as they stood in front of Mo Qingyun. What? The Pink City Lord and the rest are completely convinced. At this moment, Zhang Tianji, who was fighting with Ling Luo, was so frightened that his face turned pale when he saw this scene. "Run." Immediately, Zhang Tianji's heart trembled. He did not dare to stay any longer and immediately turned to run. Trying to escape? Not so easy. Seeing Zhang Tianji's actions, Ling Luo's face darkened. He raised his hand and swung his sword at Zhang Tianji. Ling Luo slashed out with his sword and immediately drew out a ray of sword light. It quickly landed on Zhang Tianji's back, leaving behind a horrifying wound that was dripping with blood. However, Zhang Tianji did not care about this at this moment. He frantically ran for his life as if he had gone mad. "You can't escape." Seeing Zhang Tianji frantically running for his life, Ling Luo's face darkened. He planned to continue chasing after Zhang Tianji. "Ling Luo, there's no need to chase after him." Mo Qingyun shouted at Ling Luo when he saw Ling Luo's actions. He said indifferently, "He's just a clown. Don't bother about him. He can't escape." "Yes, boss." Ling Luo nodded in response when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He walked towards Mo Qingyun's side and said somewhat unwillingly, "The next time I see him, I'll definitely kill him." Mo Qingyun only smiled faintly in response to Ling Luo's unwillingly words and did not say anything else. From today onwards, Pink City will be renamed Four Symbol City. Soon after, Emo Qingyun turned to look at Pink and said in a deep voice, "The four of them will be the new city lords of Four Symbol City. You will be the deputy city lord of Four Symbol City. As for the others, they will continue to perform their duties and listen to your commands." Emo Qingyun continued, "Also, the five of us will usually be cultivating. You will continue to manage the matters of Pink City as before. If you encounter any trouble that you can't resolve, you can come and find us." "Yes, master." Pink's expression changed slightly when she heard Emo Qingyun's words. She hurriedly nodded in response. Next, Emo Qingyun gave some instructions to Hong Fun and the others before he asked, "Hong Fun, is there any quiet place to cultivate in the city governor's estate?" Pink's expression was respectful as she replied, "Master, there are a few secluded secret cultivation rooms in the city lord's residence. We usually cultivate there." Emo Qingyun nodded when he heard Pink's words. He said, "Since that's the case, lead us there." A while later, Emo Qingyun and the rest arrived at the secret cultivation room under Pink's lead. "You can leave first. I will call you if I need you." After arriving at the secret cultivation room, Emo Qingyun waved his hand at Pink, indicating for her to leave. Subsequently, Emo Qingyun and the rest entered the secret cultivation room with Lu Fangliang and the rest. After entering the secret cultivation room, Emo Qingyun led the rest into a spacious room and said, "Brother Lu, I will set up a 5 times time shift formation for all of you. You can cultivate in the time shift formation for the rest of your time." Time shift formation? Lu Fangliang and the rest were puzzled when they heard Emo Qingyun's words. They looked at Emo Qingyun in confusion. Their understanding of formations could not be compared to Emo Qingyun's, so they did not know what kind of formation the time shift formation was. A 5 times time shift formation refers to a formation where 5 days in the formation is equivalent to 1 day in the outside world. Seeing Lu Fangliang and the rest's puzzled expressions, Emo Qingyun smiled faintly and explained to them, "So, 5 days in the time shift formation is equivalent to 1 day in the outside world. 5 days in the formation is equivalent to 1 day in the outside world?" Lu Fangliang and the rest's expressions immediately changed when they heard Emo Qingyun's words. They were shocked and could not believe their ears. If that was the case, wouldn't their cultivation speed be 5 times faster than others? Thump, thump. The heartbeats of Lu Fangliang and the rest sped up when they thought of this. They were unable to calm down for a long time. Emo Qingyun did not say much in response to Lu Fangliang and the rest's astonishment. He began to set up the time shift formation for them. Now that the 9 temples were at the sky spirit realm, it was very easy for Emo Qingyun to set up a 5 times time shift formation with the help of the 9 temples. A moment later, with the help of the 9 temples, Emo Qingyun completed setting up the 5 times time shift formation. Chapter 230. After leaving Roi Shui and the others' cultivation rooms, Emo Qingyun walked into a slightly smaller cultivation room. After entering this cultivation room, Emo Qingyun began to set up the 8 times time travel array, preparing to cultivate and increase his cultivation. "Before I cultivate, I should take inventory of the Chinquin bags that I obtained earlier." After sitting down cross-legged, Emo Qingyun's eyes suddenly lit up as he thought of the thousands of Chinquin bags that he obtained outside the 9 temples' secret treasure. With this thought, Emo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to count the spoils of war. After a few hours, Emo Qingyun finally finished counting the spoils of war. What shocked him was that the number of elemental spirit stones in these thousands of Chinquin bags was more than 1 billion. Such a number was far beyond his expectations. However, when he thought of the identities of those people before, Emo Qingyun was relieved. Many of those people were princes of various kingdoms, as well as the younger generation of some large family clans. It was normal for them to be wealthy. In addition to a large number of elemental spirit stones, Mo Qingyun also obtained nearly 1 million battle elemental crystals. With this, his cultivation resources were no longer a problem. However, what really made Mo Qingyun happy was that he had obtained a lot of alchemy materials in these Chinquan bags. As for the other items, such as refining materials, weapons, martial techniques, and armor, he did not care about them. Instead, he wanted to find an opportunity to get rid of those items and exchange them for elemental spirit stones. No wonder so many people are so passionate about raiding and robbing. This is indeed the fastest way to get rich. The efficiency is too high. At this moment, Mo Qingyun could not help but sigh in his heart. With just one massacre, he had obtained such a harvest. Mo Qingyun did not doubt that if he robbed a few more times, he would be as rich as a country. After sighing, Mo Qingyun frowned. He thought to himself, now that I have enough elemental spirit stones, I can post some bounties. With this thought, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He got up and walked out of the secret cultivation room. As he left the secret cultivation room, Mo Qingyun used his soul to send an order to Rufin, telling her to immediately come to the City Lord's Mansion's main hall. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived at the City Lord's main hall. At this time, Rufin and the others were already waiting. Master! Seeing Mo Qingyun arrive, Rufin and the others immediately showed respect and bowed to Mo Qingyun. As Mo Qingyun saw the expressions of Pink Pink and the others, he nodded in response. Then he tossed the universe bag to Pink Pink and said, there are 100 million spirit essence stones in here. Later, you can help me issue a few bounties. 100 million elemental spirit stones. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the hearts of Rufin and the others trembled. They were even more in awe of Mo Qingyun. They really didn't think that Mo Qingyun would casually toss out 100 million spirit essence stones like this. After throwing out 100 million elemental spirit stones to Rufin and the others, Mo Qingyun continued, the contents of the bounties are as follows. The first bounty is 100,000 elemental spirit stones for providing the correct location of the eye demon. The second bounty is 300,000 elemental spirit stones for killing the Du family. The third bounty is 500,000 elemental spirit stones for bringing back Zhang Tianji's head. Then, Mo Qingyun told Rufin about the bounties he wanted to post. After he finished speaking, Mo Qingyun said to Rufin and the others, after this, if you don't have enough elemental spirit stones, immediately tell me. I will give you another 100 million. Another 100 million. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Rufin and the others trembled again. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's wealth. At this moment, while Rufin and the others were frightened, Mo Qingyun threw a few more cosmos bags to Rufin and said, here's some weapons, armors, martial skills, and other things. Find a suitable opportunity to sell them and exchange them for elemental spirit stones. Seeing that everything was explained, Mo Qingyun did not say anything more. He waved his hand at Rufin and the others and said, if that's the case, you can go and do your work. Yes, master. Rufin will take her leave. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Rufin and the others immediately nodded in response. They got up and walked out of the hall. After Rufin and the others left the hall and opened the cosmos bags containing martial skills and weapons, they were instantly stunned. These cosmos bags were filled with all kinds of weapons, armors, martial skills, and other items. With a rough calculation, these cosmos bags contained at least 10,000 weapons, armors, and other items. If each one was worth 100,000 elemental spirit stones, these cosmos bags were worth at least 1 billion elemental spirit stones. Thinking of this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Their heartbeats immediately sped up. Mo Qingyun had casually thrown out a few cosmos bags, and they were worth over 1 billion elemental spirit stones. This wealth was too frightening. Rufin City Lord, do you think these things are? At this moment, a quick-witted person quickly guessed the origin of these things and looked at Rufin with shock. These things should have been left behind by the people that Master killed outside the 9 temples. Rufin's expression was solemn as she responded to the person beside her. She then said, "Regarding Master's matters, we shouldn't ask too much. Just do what Master wants us to do." "Yes, yes, yes." Hearing Rufin's words, everyone hurriedly nodded and immediately began to do things for Mo Qingyun. After instructing Rufin and the others, Mo Qingyun returned to the secret training room. Once he returned to the secret training room, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to cultivate. Then, Mo Qingyun took out a large number of battlefield origin crystals and piled them around his body for him to refine and absorb. Under Mo Qingyun's refinement, waves of pure battlefield origin energy were extracted from the battlefield origin crystals. Once the battlefield origin energy was extracted, it revolved around Mo Qingyun's body, forming a storm of origin energy that was slowly absorbed and refined by Mo Qingyun. As he absorbed and refined the battlefield origin energy, Mo Qingyun's aura rapidly increased. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. Under the continuous absorption of battlefield origin crystals, Mo Qingyun's aura finally reached a peak. Mo Qingyun's cultivation was about to break through. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to compress the origin energy in his body, preparing to break through the boundary barrier. Boom! Several hours later, the imposing aura on Mo Qingyun's body suddenly soared, emitting a surge of essence energy airwaves. His cultivation had finally broken through to the 4th level of the True Energy Realm. True Energy Realm Level 4. Feeling the breakthrough in his cultivation, Mo Qingyun's face immediately lit up with joy, and he continued to cultivate to stabilize his cultivation. As Mo Qingyun continued to cultivate, waves of pure battlefield origin energy were extracted from the surrounding battlefield origin crystals. A day later, Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating. After a day of cultivation, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had finally stabilized at True Energy Realm Level 4. After he stopped cultivating, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and thought to himself, "I wonder how Rufin and the others are progressing. Master, Bloodbath City is attacking." At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was pondering, Rufin sent him a message through soul power. After receiving the message from Rufin, Mo Qingyun was stunned at first. Then he smiled faintly and said, "That's good too. I'll conquer another city and ask them to help me gather information about Idemon. With one more city, it'll be more efficient." After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and walked out of the secret cultivation room. When Mo Qingyun arrived outside the secret cultivation room, Rufin was already waiting outside. "Master." When Rouge saw Mo Qingyun come out, she revealed a respectful expression and immediately bowed to Mo Qingyun. After seeing Rufin, Mo Qingyun's face was cold, and he said in a low voice, "Where are they now? Bring me to them." "Yes." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Rufin nodded and led the way. After a while, under Rufin's lead, Mo Qingyun arrived at the conference hall of the governor's mansion. At this moment, a group of arrogant people were sitting in the conference hall of the governor's mansion. They were leaning, standing, or sitting on chairs. Chapter 231. Mo Qingyun did not pay any attention to this person's words as he coldly scanned the crowd. After scanning the crowd, Mo Qingyun spotted a familiar figure in the crowd. It was Zhang Tianji, who had previously escaped. Seeing Zhang Tianji in the crowd, Mo Qingyun revealed a trace of surprise. Soon after, he sneered and said, "Zhang Tianji, you actually dare to come back. You surprised me. Kid, I came back this time to take revenge on you." Seeing that Mo Qingyun had noticed him, Zhang Tianji no longer hid his identity. He revealed a complacent sneer and said, "Let me tell you, the person beside me is Brother Duan Wei, the City Lord of Bloody Pool City. He is an expert at True Energy Realm Level 7. With him around, you will not be able to escape this time." "Is True Energy Realm Level 7 very strong?" Hearing Zhang Tianji's words, The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up slightly. He revealed a look of disdain and said, "Previously, there was a person called Zhu Feng who was also at True Energy Realm Level 7. In the end, he was still killed by me." Zhu Feng. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Duan Wei and the others' expressions immediately changed. They revealed a look of shock. They had heard of Blood Spear Zhu Feng from Spear Kingdom. It was said that although his cultivation was not high, his strength was extremely terrifying. They did not expect that he would actually die at the hands of Mo Qingyun. It seemed like Mo Qingyun's strength should be above Zhu Feng's. After thinking about this, Duan Wei's expression changed. He looked at Mo Qingyun in shock and said in shock, You really killed Zhu Feng? Regarding this matter, you will know when you go to Pink City later." Mo Qingyun responded indifferently to Duan Wei's question. His face sank slightly as he looked at Duan Wei's group and said, "Before that, I'll give you a choice. Either submit to me like Rouge or die. I'll give you 10 breaths to consider." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, one of the people beside Duan Wei immediately revealed an expression of disdain. He coldly said, "Brat, do you think we're so easily frightened? You want us to submit to you with just a few casual words? I, Li Qichuan, will like to see how you'll kill me." Life-seizing cut. As soon as Li Qichuan finished speaking, he swung his black iron scythe at Mo Qingyun. As the sickle swept across, a black ripple appeared on the blade of the black iron sickle, emitting a cold and gloomy aura. This scythe. After seeing the scythe in Li Qichuan's hand, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, revealing a look of surprise. From Li Qichuan's scythe, Mo Qingyun could feel a vague soul fluctuation. This discovery left Mo Qingyun surprised. However, after a short moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun's face darkened as he coldly said, "Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he raised his hand and took out the red silk saber, slashing it at Li Qichuan. As Mo Qingyun slashed with his saber, he unreservedly released the 3rd level of fire ultimacy. As the saber slashed down, the flames on the red silk saber immediately surged, emitting a terrifying aura that transformed into a huge fire dragon shadow. Roar! As soon as the fire dragon saber light formed, it let out a low roar and powerfully blasted towards Li Qichuan. Bang! Li Qichuan's cultivation was only at the 5th level of the True Energy Realm. In the face of Mo Qingyun's attack, he did not even have the strength to resist as he was forcefully blasted away by the fire dragon saber light. When Li Qichuan was blasted away, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and snatched the black iron scythe, keeping it in his chinquan bag. In one move, Li Qichuan was crippled. After seeing this scene, the pupils of Duan Wei and the others at the side shrank. Immediately, they looked at Mo Qingyun with reverence in their eyes. Duan Wei was very clear in his heart that Mo Qingyun's casual slash was already enough to threaten them. This discovery caused him to be unable to make up his mind for a moment. From the looks of it, Mo Qingyun's words might be true, and he really did kill Blood Spear Zhu Feng. However, because of Mo Qingyun's words, he had surrendered just like that. This was too embarrassing for him. However, if he did not surrender, with Mo Qingyun's ability to kill Zhu Feng, it would not be difficult for him to kill him. Time's up. At this moment, when Duan Wei was hesitating in his heart, Mo Qingyun's words entered his ears, causing his expression to immediately change. "Speak. Do you choose to surrender or die?" Mo Qingyun looked at Duan Wei and the others in front of him with a cold expression, waiting for their answer. "Duan, big brother Duan Wei, you must not surrender just because of this kid's words." After seeing the scene before him, Zhang Tianji's expression immediately twitched. He revealed a nervous expression as he tried to persuade Duan Wei. He had no choice but to be nervous. Once Duan Wei and the others surrendered, he would be all alone and would definitely die. Zhang Tianji really did not expect that. Not only did he not ask Duan Wei and the others for help, but he also sent Mo Qingyun's underlings. Such an outcome made him extremely depressed. It was something that he had never dreamt of. At this moment, When Zhang Tianji was speaking to Duan Wei, Mo Qingyun looked at a person with a cultivation of true energy realm level 5 and asked coldly, "What is your choice?" I will not surrender to you." When he heard Mo Qingyun's words, he revealed a terrified expression and mustered up his courage to reply to Mo Qingyun. "I energy ray." Seeing this person's reply, Mo Qingyun directly shot an eye energy ray at him and pierced his head. Pucci. After being hit by the eye energy ray, this person immediately widened his eyes and revealed a terrified expression as he fell to the ground. Dead. Seeing Mo Qingyun's cold action, Duan Wei and the others immediately felt their hearts twitch and the fear on their faces intensified. At this moment, while Duan Wei and the others were terrified, Mo Qingyun looked at Duan Wei and asked for his decision. "Duan Wei, have you thought about it?" I am willing to surrender to you." Duan Wei gritted his teeth and made a difficult decision to surrender to Mo Qingyun. Although he was unwilling, he did not dare to take the risk because he could not afford to. We are also willing to surrender." When they saw Duan Wei surrender, Duan Wei's underlings immediately revealed their fearful expressions and voiced their decision one after another. Even their boss, Duan Wei, had surrendered to Mo Qingyun. Why would they still insist unless they were tired of living? Seeing that everyone was willing to surrender, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile and said, "Very good. Now kill him first." As Mo Qingyun spoke, he raised his hand and pointed at Zhang Tianji. His meaning was obvious. Yes. When they heard Mo Qingyun's order, Duan Wei and the others immediately nodded and charged towards Zhang Tianji. Brother Duan Wei, don't kill me." When he saw Duan Wei and the others charging over, Zhang Tianji's expression immediately twitched, and he revealed a pleading expression. However, Duan Wei simply didn't care about his begging. He revealed a trace of a cold smile and said, "Zhang Tianji, you brat, you caused me to live under someone else's roof. You actually want me to spare you? Moreover, if I don't kill you, I will die myself. So, you should obediently accept your death." In Duan Wei's opinion, if Zhang Tianji had not incited him to come, how could he have been forced to surrender to Mo Qingyun at this moment? When Duan Wei's words fell, he attacked Zhang Tianji mercilessly. In just a few exchanges, Duan Wei killed Zhang Tianji. Seeing the long saber in Duan Wei's hand stabbed into his chest, Zhang Tianji's face was filled with unwillingness and despair. He never would have thought that the helper he invited would actually kill him in the end. This kind of death was really too sullen. Seeing that Duan Wei killed Zhang Tianji, Mo Qingyun nodded in satisfaction and said to Duan Wei and the others, "Open up your souls and let me plant a soul imprint in your souls." What? You want to plant a soul imprint in our souls? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of Duan Wei and the rest immediately changed and a trace of anger surfaced. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun's request at this moment was really a little too overbearing. Regarding Duan Wei and the rest's reaction, Mo Qingyun ignored it and said in a cold tone, "You can choose to refuse, but your outcome will be the same as Zhang Tianji's." "Humph, brat, you are too much of a bully. I don't believe that with so many of us, we can't deal with you alone. That's right. Everyone attack together and kill this brat together." "Big brother Duan Wei, if we attack together, we might be able to kill this brat. I heard that he has many treasures on him." At this moment, the 5 or 6 people behind Duan Wei immediately revealed a look of anger and greed, wanting to kill Mo Qingyun and seize the treasures. Soul Sky Seal. Seeing their actions, Mo Qingyun no longer held back and directly blasted out over 10 soul battle seals at them. Puff, puff, puff. Faced with the bombardment of the soul battle seals, the few of them spat out mouthfuls of blood and their expressions became sluggish. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not show any mercy. He raised his hand and swept his saber at them, killing them directly. We are willing to open up our souls and let you plant the soul-snatching seal." Seeing this, Duan Wei and the rest did not dare to hesitate and quickly begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. After that, Mo Qingyun planted a soul-assimilating imprint in the souls of Duan Wei and the others, and then said to them, "When you return to Bloodpool City, help me issue a few bounties. First, provide information on the location of the Beholder Demon." Mo Qingyun told Duan Wei and the rest about the bounties. "Master, you're looking for a demon?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Duan Wei's expression changed and revealed a look of surprise as he looked at Mo Qingyun. Hearing Duan Wei's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed and he asked with anticipation, "You know the location of I demon?" "Yes." Duan Wei nodded and replied with a solemn expression, "A month ago, I encountered some I demons in Heixian Valley. However, that place is now occupied by Puppet Kingdom, the fourth of the 10 kingdoms. Outsiders are not allowed to enter." Hearing this, Mo Qingyun pondered for a moment and said to Duan Wei, "Tell me the location of Heixian Valley." Chapter 232. Before Mo Qingyun left, he made a trip to the secret cultivation room. After arriving at the secret cultivation room, he set up a defensive formation outside the cultivation room of Lu Fangliang and the others. This was to prevent the people of the 10 great kingdoms from coming to cause trouble after he left, and Lu Fangliang and the others would be injured. "Brother Lu, it's best that you don't leave the formation for the next few days." After setting up the defensive formation, Mo Qingyun instructed Lu Fangliang and the others. "Okay." Lu Fangliang and the others nodded in response. After hearing Lu Fangliang and the others' response, Mo Qingyun did not say anything else and walked towards his cultivation room. After returning to his cultivation room, Mo Qingyun began to store the 8-fold time travel formation into the disk array of the 9 temples. After doing all this, Mo Qingyun could not stay any longer and immediately headed towards Heixian Valley. According to Duan Wei's description, Heixian Valley was some distance away from Pink City. With Mo Qingyun's speed, it would take about 10 days to reach it. In addition, Duan Wei also said that Heixian Valley was a famous danger zone in 100 Countries battlefield. It was also a famous treasure trove. It was said that this black, profound valley was the place where a powerhouse cultivated, and that powerhouse's inheritance was located within. After receiving this information, Mo Qingyun's anticipation for Heixian Valley increased. 9 temples, do you know Heixian Valley? On the way to Heixian Valley, Mo Qingyun chatted with the 9 temples as he hurried along. Mo Qingyun thought that since the 9 temples had appeared in the 100 Countries battlefield, they should have some understanding of the 100 Countries battlefield. Even if his memory was badly damaged, he should have some impression of it. If he could provide some helpful information, that would be great. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the 9 temples pondered for a moment before replying. "Young lord, old servant Gu has some impression of Heixian. It seems to be the residence of Heixian's Star General." Heixian's residence? Hearing the 9th temple's message, Mo Qingyun was surprised. He didn't expect the master of Heixian Valley to be in existence similar to the 9th temples. If that was the case, this Heixian Valley should not be simple. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's expectations for Heixian Valley increased a little. "Young lord, Heixian Star General was one of the strongest of the previous master's 18 star generals. Her battle prowess is above old servants." At this time, the 9th temples pondered for a moment, organized his thoughts, and said, "Heixian Star General's cultivation method. Heixian's incarnation can be cultivated to the peak and can condense 9 external avatars. Each external avatar has 70% of the master's battle prowess. It is very powerful." So powerful. Hearing the 9th temple's words, Mo Qingyun's eyes widened. He couldn't believe his ears. At this moment, in his mind, a scene of the real body leading the 9 external avatars to beat up the enemy appeared. The 9th temples continued. "Not only that, if you cultivate Heixian's incarnation, when you encounter danger, you can even use soul formation to replace yourself, allowing the real body to escape. Heixian's incarnation, I must have you." After listening to the 9th temple's explanation, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of anticipation. Clenching his fists, he secretly made up his mind. In the following days, Mo Qingyun hurried along as he cultivated, raising his cultivation. 10 days later, in a relatively remote hut, an 18 or 19-year-old youth sat cross-legged on the ground with a serious expression on his face, madly absorbing the yuan qi from the battlefield. At this moment, the yuan qi around the youth was like a storm, constantly revolving around his body. As time passed, the yuan qi storm around the youth grew bigger and bigger, and his aura grew stronger and stronger. At the same time, the youth's aura also grew stronger and stronger. After an unknown period of time, the youth's aura suddenly increased explosively, entering a new level. His cultivation had broken through. True energy level 5. Feeling the yuan qi in his body grow stronger, the youth opened his eyes with joy, feeling somewhat excited. This youth was naturally Mo Qingyun, who had left Pink City and was heading to Hexian Valley. In these 10 days of hurrying along, Mo Qingyun's cultivation had finally increased again with the help of the time shift 8 times formation. Next, Mo Qingyun stabilized his cultivation before he got up and continued on his way. In half a day, I will reach Hexian Valley. After estimating in his mind, Mo Qingyun had a rough idea of his current location. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately hurried on with all his might. Half a day later, a pitch-black valley appeared in front of Mo Qingyun, making Mo Qingyun feel as if he had arrived at a coal mine. Not only were the rocks here black, even the grass and trees on the mountain were all pitch black. This seemed to be a black world. After a short moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun did not think too much about it and directly walked into Hexian Valley. Stop. This is the territory of our puppet kingdom. Unrelated people get lost immediately. At this moment, just as Mo Qingyun was about to enter Hexian Valley, a cold voice came from the side of the mountain rock. Then, Mo Qingyun saw a few youths jump down from the mountain rock with cold expressions and slowly approach him. These youths were not weak and had all reached true energy level 7. Moreover, there was a large man with copper skin and iron bones beside each of them. These large men with copper skin and iron bones should be the so-called puppets. These puppets were not weak and were slightly stronger than these youths. They were almost at the true energy level 8. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's expression could not help but change as he thought to himself, no wonder the puppet kingdom can be ranked 4th in the 10 great kingdoms. It seems like they do indeed have an impressive combat strength. However, although the puppet kingdom's combat strength was not weak, Mo Qingyun would not be scared off by them. After pondering for a moment, Mo Qingyun showed a trace of disdain and said indifferently, "Since when did Hexian Valley become the private territory of your puppet kingdom?" When they heard Mo Qingyun's words, the youth's expressions changed as they were somewhat surprised by Mo Qingyun's performance. A true energy level 5 brat actually dared to speak so arrogantly when he met a true energy level 7 cultivator of their puppet kingdom. This kind of thing was really rare. So it's this fool. Don't talk nonsense with him. Shao Qi, get rid of him. After being stunned for a moment, one of the young men glanced at Mo Qingyun with disdain before instructing the young man beside him. Let's go. Yes, second brother. Shao Qi nodded and sneered at Mo Qingyun. He said, "Brat, if I were you, I would have run far away when I saw us. I wouldn't have stayed to die." Die. When he heard Shao Qi's words, Mo Qingyun curled his lips and sneered. He said indifferently, "I don't think so. Just a few of you can't do anything to me." It's really this fool. When Shao Qi heard Mo Qingyun's words, the disdain on his face became thicker. He said impatiently, "Since you're in such a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish." After Shao Qi finished speaking, he moved the puppet aside and looked at Mo Qingyun with disdain. He said, "I don't need to use a puppet to deal with you." Puppet's shadow. After moving the puppet aside, Shao Qi attacked Mo Qingyun. The machete in his hand released a terrifying yuan power. When the yuan power was released, It turned into a human-shaped shadow and charged towards Mo Qingyun and the others. It showed that it was not afraid of death. Sun incinerating mountain, splitting blade. When he saw the Yuan power figure, Mo Qingyun's face darkened. He took out his red silk blade and slashed at it. Then, a terrifying blade radiance bloomed on the red silk blade and turned into a fire dragon. It charged towards the human-shaped shadow with lightning speed. Bang! Under the attack of the fire dragon blade radiance, the human-shaped shadow was immediately destroyed and dissipated in midair. At the same time, the speed of the fire dragon blade radiance did not decrease. It continued to charge towards Xiao Qi. Bang! Another muffled sound was heard. Xiao Qi was directly hit by the fire dragon blade radiance and was sent flying. He spat out blood. Xiao Qi. When the surrounding people saw this, they were shocked and quickly rushed toward Xiao Qi. The scene in front of them was beyond their expectations. They did not expect that the person who was defeated in one move was not Mo Qingyun, who was at True Energy Realm Level 5, but their brother, Xiao Qi. Boy, how dare you hurt the people of the Puppet Kingdom? You're courting death. After checking on Xiao Qi's injuries, the young men's faces turned cold. They were about to attack Mo Qingyun. Woo 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 woo. At this moment, when the young men were about to attack, a bugle horn sounded from inside Hexian Valley. It's the 8th prince calling for everyone. When they heard the bugle horn, the young men's expressions changed. They said to Mo Qingyun coldly, "Boy, you're lucky this time. You'd better not let us meet you again." As soon as the young man finished speaking, he carried Xiao Qi's body and rushed towards the interior of Hexian Valley. Seeing the young man's actions, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He was surprised by the outcome. Did the Puppet Kingdom discover something? Chapter 233. After the Puppet King's people left, they quickly advanced towards the interior of Hexian Valley and soon arrived at a valley. Seeing the people from the Puppet Kingdom enter the valley, Mo Qingyun hurriedly followed and also entered the valley. Clang, clang, clang. After Mo Qingyun entered the valley, the sound of intense fighting entered his ears. There's a fight. Could it be the people from the Puppet Kingdom? Hearing the sound of fighting, Mo Qingyun's expression changed and revealed a trace of surprise. He asked doubtfully, "I wonder which kingdom the people fighting with the Puppet Kingdom are from?" In Mo Qingyun's opinion, with the powerful strength of the Puppet Kingdom, the existence that dared to confront them head-on was definitely not simple. The Puppet Kingdom was ranked 4th among the 10 great kingdoms, and its strength was self-evident. Now, when this force was fighting with the Puppet Kingdom, it was even more remarkable to be able to force them to send a distress signal. Thinking of this, Mo Qingyun revealed a curious expression and immediately rushed towards the interior of the valley. Not long after, the scene of an intense battle appeared before Mo Qingyun's eyes. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that the force fighting with the people from the Puppet Kingdom was not from a certain kingdom, but a group of demons. These demons were not weak, and they were basically at the 4th or 5th level of the True Energy Realm. The strongest demon even had a cultivation of the 7th level of the True Energy Realm. Demons. Seeing these demons in front of him, Mo Qingyun's expression changed and revealed a look of pleasant surprise. He really did not expect that there would be so many demons here. It seemed that Duan Wei did not lie. Hexian Palace. However, when Mo Qingyun's gaze shifted to the back of the demons, his expression changed again and revealed a look of shock. This was actually the cultivation palace of Hexian Star General. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun could not help but guess in his heart. The people from the Puppet Kingdom should be planning to kill these demons and then enter the Hexian Palace. 8th Prince, we are here. While Mo Qingyun was still in shock, Xiao Qi and the others had respectful looks on their faces as they walked up to a young man with a golden crown on his head. The golden crown young man was surprised when he saw Xiao Qi and the others. He looked at the injured Xiao Qi and asked, "Yaner, why is Yin Qi injured?" Just now, outside Hexian Valley, we encountered a True Energy Stage 5 brat. When Little Seven was dealing with him, she was accidentally injured by a sneak attack. Yenner looked slightly ashamed as he reported to the 8th Prince. In his opinion, it was unbelievable that a 5th-level true energy stage martial artist could injure Yin Qi, who was at the 7th-level true energy stage. It was too shameful to say such a thing. 5th level of the true element stage. The 8th Prince's expression changed when he heard Yin Er's words. He sneered playfully. At this moment, whether Yin Xiuyang did it on purpose or not, his gaze actually drifted towards Mo Qingyun. Seeing Yin Xiuyang's actions, Mo Qingyun's heart skipped a beat. A trace of shock rose in his heart as he exclaimed, "Have we been discovered?" However, Mo Qingyun was slightly relieved when he saw that Yin Xiuyang did not do anything else. He thought that he was being overly cautious. Although that brat's cultivation level is only at the 5th level true energy stage, his true strength is far beyond his cultivation level. When Yin Er saw the look of shock on Yin Xiuyang's face, the shame on his face deepened. He said, "Because we heard your summons, we didn't continue to pursue him and let him escape. Don't worry about that, brat. Let's deal with these demons first." The 8th Prince smiled and waved his hand when he heard Yin Er's words. He gestured to Yin Er and the others to not worry and ordered them to kill the demons in front of them. Yes, Yin Er and the rest did not hesitate when they heard the 8th Prince's order. They immediately joined the team and began to kill demons. After instructing Yin Er and the others, the 8th Prince's expression turned cold. He glanced at Mo Qingyun and said coldly, "Brat, you actually dare to touch my Yin Xiuyang's people. I will definitely make you regret being born into this world." The 8th Prince, Yin Xiuyang, no longer hesitated and joined the rest to kill demons. After Yin Xiuyang fought demons, a few more people joined the team to kill demons. Demons, who initially had the upper hand, fell into a disadvantageous position after these people joined the team. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly as he watched Yin Xiuyang and the others fight with Yin Xiuyang. He said playfully, "I'll let you fight with Yin Xiuyang for a while. Once they're both injured, I'll take advantage of the situation." As soon as this thought appeared, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and leisurely watched the Puppet Kingdom and Devil fight. However, the more he watched, the more shocked Mo Qingyun became. The people from Puppet Kingdom were very experienced in dealing with demons, especially the 8th Prince, Yin Xiuyang. Yin Xiuyang skillfully controlled the puppets to block the rays from demons while he killed demons himself. In a short while, a few demons were killed by him. His efficiency was extremely high. Soon, the demons were like ordinary demonic beasts. Half of them were killed by Yin Xiuyang and the rest. Mo Qingyun was shocked when he saw that. He thought to himself, "These people are so powerful. Given their current combat power, why did the 10 Kingdoms lose so many people when they fought demons back then? That's strange." At this moment, doubt arose in Mo Qingyun's heart. He felt somewhat puzzled. "Young master, this old servant seems to have sensed a familiar aura from the 8th Prince, Yin Xiuyang." At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was pondering in his heart, Jiugong suddenly exclaimed in surprise. "Oh!" Mo Qingyun was shocked when he heard what the 9 temples said. He asked, "Do you know where he came from?" The 9 temples pondered for a moment and replied, "I don't know yet. However, given enough time, I should be able to guess." Whoosh! While Mo Qingyun and the 9 temples were talking, a purple stream of light shot out from the eyes of the puppet beside Yin Xiuyang. It was I-Force Ray. I-Force Ray. After seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed, and the way he looked at Yin Xiuyang also changed. Yin Xiuyang's puppet could shoot out I-Force Ray. Didn't that mean that Yin Xiuyang's puppet had refined the demon bloodline? If that was the case, Yin Xiuyang knew how to refine the demon bloodline. In other words, Yin Xiuyang and the others were probably hunting demons for the demon bloodline to increase their puppets' I-Force Ray. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's heart was immediately set off by a raging storm. He had never imagined that there would be someone in the 100 countries battlefield who could refine the demon bloodline to produce force ray. This was definitely not a good thing for him. The Nine Temples said to Mo Qingyun in a grave tone, "Young lord, although I can't guess where this person came from, his background is definitely not simple. You must be careful of him in the future. He might be a strong opponent for you." "I'm aware of that." Mo Qingyun nodded after hearing this, indicating that he agreed with Jiugong's words. Then, he said with some relief, "It's a good thing that I came to the Black Profound Valley and learned of such an existence. I could prepare ahead of time to guard against him. Otherwise, if I rashly encountered him, I might have encountered some trouble." At the moment, Mo Qingyun had already regarded Yin Xiuyang as a formidable opponent. Thus, a trace of killing intent arose in his heart. As the saying went, a mountain could not accommodate two tigers. Since Yin Xiuyang had the same ability as him, there was no way they could coexist peacefully. Therefore, between him and Yin Xiuyang, only one of them could stay in the 100-ghost battlefield. Given Yin Xiuyang's ability, he must have been hiding something when he killed a demon in the 10 Great Kingdoms. When he thought of this, Mo Qingyun's heart sank a little. The way he looked at Yin Xiuyang turned a little colder as he thought to himself, "This means that Yin Xiuyang must be a very patient person. Such a person is very difficult to deal with." While Mo Qingyun was still in shock, Yin Xiuyang killed several more demons in succession. Mo Qingyun sighed softly when he saw Yin Xiuyang kill demons with ease. What a fast speed! Given Yin Xiuyang's speed, it won't be long before he slaughters all the demons here. Just like that, about 15 minutes later, the demons outside Xian Valley were all slaughtered by Yin Xiuyang and the others. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that after Yin Xiuyang killed demon, he looked at him with a sneer and said coldly, "Kid, how long are you going to hide? You were secretly watching from aside. It's time for you to come out and meet me. I've really been discovered." Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed when he heard Yin Xiuyang's words. A wave of surprise rose in his heart. It seemed that he had not been overly cautious earlier. Instead, he had been discovered by Yin Xiuyang long ago. Chapter 234. Seeing that Yin Xiuyang had discovered him, Mo Qingyun no longer concealed himself. He walked out from behind the black rock and walked towards the people from the Puppet Kingdom. "Brat, it's actually you." Yin Er and the rest immediately recognized Mo Qingyun when they saw Mo Qingyun. They glowered at Mo Qingyun and said, "Brat, you've got guts. You actually followed us here after injuring the people from the Puppet Kingdom. I think you must be tired of living. So you're the one who injured Yin Shi." Yin Xiuyang was shocked when he heard what Yin Er and the rest said. He looked at Mo Qingyun with appreciation and said, "You're able to injure Yin Shi, who is at True Origin Stage 7, with your cultivation at True Origin Stage 5. You're quite extraordinary." After praising Mo Qingyun, Yin Xiuyang smiled faintly at Mo Qingyun and said, "I, Yin Xiuyang, am a person who appreciates talents. As long as you release your soul now and allow me to plant a soul imprint in your soul and willingly become my soul puppet, I'll spare your life." Soul puppet. Hearing Yin Xiuyang's words, Mo Qingyun's heart skipped a beat and he revealed a shocked expression. He had never imagined that Yin Xiuyang would actually possess a similar ability to plant a soul imprint in another person's soul. It seemed like Yin Xiuyang was even more extraordinary. Most importantly, Yin Xiuyang had kept a low profile despite possessing such an ability. His ability to conceal himself was too frightening. This person was difficult to deal with. He was a terrifying enemy. At that moment, Mo Qingyun gave Yin Xiuyang an evaluation in his heart. After a short moment of silence, Mo Qingyun's lips curled into a faint smile as he replied, "What if I don't agree?" "Don't agree?" Yin Xiuyang sneered when he heard Mo Qingyun's reply. "Brat, I advise you to think it through. Otherwise, I'll have no choice but to kill you and give up on such a talent." At this moment, when Yin Xiuyang finished speaking, a young man beside him revealed a proud expression and said, "Kid, It's your honor that the 8th prince has taken a liking to your talent. Our 8th prince is a man of great talent and will definitely accomplish great things in the future. Following him is the wisest choice for you. I'm sorry, but I don't like to be restrained by others. Hearing Yin Xiaoyang's threatening words, Qingyun smiled faintly and rejected his suggestion again. Brat, you've seen many of my secrets and you're not willing to submit to me. If that's the case, I can't let you live. Yin Xiaoyang's face turned cold when he heard Qingyun's refusal. He waved his hand at the people around him and said, "Kill him. What a blind brat. The 8th prince appreciates you so much, but you don't know how to appreciate his kindness." Hearing Yin Xiaoyang's order, the people around him immediately attacked Qingyun. "Since you want to die, we'll fulfill your wish. Let's set up the battle puppet formation immediately and kill this brat quickly. Don't let the 8th prince get in the way." These people went all out as soon as they attacked. They directly used the puppets to attack Qingyun. "You intend to use the puppets to deal with me?" Qingyun could not help but curl his lips when he saw the actions of the people from the puppet kingdom. He said with a faint smile, "If that's the case, I'll pull out your tiger teeth first." Heavenly Soul Seal. Then, Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately attacked these people. He released dozens of Heavenly Soul Seals. Once the Heavenly Soul Seals were released, Qingyun controlled them, and they quickly blasted into the Heavenly Soul of the puppets. As the Heavenly Soul Seals blasted into the Heavenly Soul of the puppets, they immediately wiped out the Soul Seals in the Heavenly Soul of the puppets. Once the Soul Seals in the Heavenly Soul of the puppets were wiped out, they were no longer under the control of anyone. They instantly turned into scrap metal and stood there motionlessly. As for the people from the puppet kingdom, because the soul power that they had left in the Heavenly Soul of the puppets was blasted away by Qingyun, their minds were immediately injured. As their minds were injured, the people from the puppet kingdom immediately spat out blood. Their faces turned pale as they looked at Qingyun in shock. They had not expected Qingyun to have such a technique. He was simply the nemesis of the puppet kingdom. Middle stage, spirit origin realm. This brat's spirit origin realm has such a strong spirit origin realm cultivation. After Qingyun performed the Heavenly Soul Seal, Yin Xiaoyang's expression changed, and he revealed a look of surprise. He had not expected Qingyun's soul power to have reached such a level. After a short moment of surprise, Yin Xiaoyang's face turned gloomy. He said coldly, "To think that I actually underestimated you. Since that's the case, I'll personally kill you." Yama's integrity. Under Yin Xiaoyang's attack, a wave of soul power immediately shot out from the top of his head and turned into a black scythe. As soon as the scythe appeared, it rapidly attacked Qingyun's head. It gave off a cold and dark aura. Heavenly Soul Seal. Seeing Yin Xiaoyang's attack, Qingyun did not dare to hesitate. He immediately summoned his Heavenly Soul Seal to receive it. At this moment, Qingyun did not hold back. He summoned 81 Heavenly Soul Seals and suppressed the black Heavenly Soul Scythe. Bang! After the black Heavenly Soul Seal and the Heavenly Soul Sickle collided, a loud sound was emitted. A shocking soul ripple surged from it. As soon as the soul ripple was emitted, it was like a nightmare or a ghost. It rapidly flew out in all directions. It was a terrifying sight. Yin Xiaoyang was not surprised that Qingyun had blocked his attack. Instead, a cold smile appeared on his face. Soul Light. As Yin Xiaoyang sneered, he formed a seal with his right hand and sent it into the puppet on his right. Then, a dark gray, flowing light shot out from the puppet on his right. It carried a terrifying soul ripple and attacked Qingyun. At the same time, Yin Xiaoyang formed a seal with his left hand and sent it into the puppet on his left. Yuan Power Light. Then, a golden flowing light shot out from the puppet on his left. It gave off a shocking aura and blasted towards Qingyun. 2 types of eye rays. Seeing this, Qingyun was shocked. He was shocked by Yin Xiaoyang's technique. Yin Xiaoyang had actually mastered 2 types of eye rays. He was not like him, who could stack two attacks together. Ray. After a short moment of shock, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hesitate. He immediately retaliated. Then, two purple flowing lights shot out from Mo Qingyun's eyes and blasted towards the two Rays. Ray. This kid also has Ray. It's a complete heavenly soul Ray. Seeing Mo Qingyun's Ray, Yin Xiuyang's expression immediately changed, and he exclaimed in shock. He had not expected Mo Qingyun to have such an ability. Furthermore, the strength of Mo Qingyun's Ray seemed to be above his puppet's Ray. Such a situation was truly beyond his expectations. However, after a short moment of shock, Yin Xiuyang guessed Mo Qingyun's identity. He said in shock, "You are the purple eye, Mo Qingyun." Mo Qingyun was not surprised that Yin Xiuyang had recognized him. When he killed people outside the secret treasure of the Nine Temples, he had used the Ray. This matter had spread throughout the 100 countries battlefield. It was not surprising that Yin Xiuyang had recognized him. That's right. Seeing that Yin Xiuyang had recognized him, Mo Qingyun did not try to hide it. He nodded and admitted it. Mo Qingyun, I know that you have obtained the inheritance of the Nine Temples and possess some of the techniques of the Nine Temples. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had admitted it, Yin Xiuyang's face immediately darkened. He said coldly, "However, you are still not my match. You are a true talent. I'm not reluctant to kill you." Yin Xiuyang paused for a moment before he said solemnly, "Now, I'll give you one last chance. As long as you tell me the method to refine the heavenly spirit devil eyes and submit to me, I can still spare your life." This person really knows the Nine Temples. Hearing Yin Xiuyang's words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He then said disdainfully, "If you have the ability, just do it. There is no need for so much nonsense. If you want me to tell you how to refine the heavenly soul magic, stop dreaming. Since you are courting death, I will fulfill your wish." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yin Xiuyang's face darkened. He said, "After I kill you, I will collect your soul. At that time, I will naturally know how to refine the heavenly soul magic eye." As soon as Yin Xiuyang finished speaking, he did not waste any more words. His body moved, and he charged toward Mo Qingyun. At this moment, as Yin Xiuyang attacked, a shocking aura rippled out from his body. Chapter 235. Half-Step to Yuandan. Mo Qingyun's face darkened and tensed up when he felt Yin Xiuyang's aura fluctuation. Yin Xiuyang's strength had greatly exceeded his expectations. Not only was his soul cultivation at the late stage of the spirit origin realm, but his Yuan power cultivation had also reached the half-step to Yuandan. Most importantly, Yin Xiuyang knew all the techniques that Mo Qingyun had mastered. As a result, Mo Qingyun's advantage had been reduced to the minimum, and he was forced into a passive position. In corpse fiendish chi, Yin Xiuyang's attack was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, his palm was already in front of Mo Qingyun's chest. After the black Yuan power exploded from Yin Xiuyang's palm, it turned into a black ghost claw and clawed at Mo Qingyun's chest. At this moment, the black Yuan power ghost claw was like a death reaper that had arrived at the 18th level of hell. Wherever the ghostly hand passed, the surrounding air seemed to be corroded, emitting a series of crackling sounds. Fire Dragon Seal. Seeing Yin Xiuyang's attack, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hesitate and immediately blocked it. Once Mo Qingyun made his move, he immediately produced 81 Fire Dragon Battle Seals, which condensed into a giant flaming battle shield and blocked the attack of the Black Essence Force Ghost Claw. When he took out the Fire Dragon Seal, Mo Qingyun also released the 3rd level Fire Ultimacy and added it to the Fire Dragon Shield. With the addition of the 3rd level Fire Ultimacy, the Fire Dragon Shield's aura immediately increased and the power of the flames became stronger. Chi chi chi. After the Black Yuan Power Ghost Claw hit the flaming shield, a sizzling sound was heard and black smoke was emitted. As the black smoke was emitted, The Black Yuan Power Ghost Claw began to dissipate bit by bit. As the Black Yuan Power Ghost Claw dissipated, the Fire Dragon Shield was also corroded bit by bit, and a gap appeared in the middle. After a stalemate, the Fire Dragon Seal and the Black Ghost Claw both dissipated in the sky. He actually blocked it. Yin Shuoyang's expression changed slightly when he saw that his full force attack was easily received by Mo Qingyun. He was a little surprised by this result. The strength that Mo Qingyun had displayed had surprised him. After a short moment of surprise, Yin Shuoyang's expression turned gloomy. He said in a cold voice, "I did not expect you to have comprehended the third level of fire ultimacy. I have underestimated you. However, that was just a warm-up. I will not hold back anymore." As soon as Yin Shuoyang finished speaking, he attacked Mo Qingyun once again, releasing a gloomy and cold aura. This was the power of ultimacy, and it was the second level of ice ultimacy. Second level profound of ice. Sensing the aura emanating from Yin Shuoyang's body, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed, and he felt extremely surprised. To think that Yin Shuoyang had also comprehended the power of profound, and it was not even at the first level of profound. This surprised Mo Qingyun. In this way, Mo Qingyun's advantage of the power of ultimacy was immediately reduced by a little. After releasing the power of ultimacy, Yin Shuoyang immediately controlled the two puppets to attack Mo Qingyun together with him. Soul Sky Seal. Seeing that Yin Shuoyang had brought the two puppets to attack him, Mo Qingyun released the Soul Battle Seal and attacked the two puppets. Seeing Mo Qingyun's action, Yin Shuoyang sneered and said coldly, "Boy, it is not that easy to destroy the Soul Seal in my puppets." Soul Whirlpool. Yin Shuoyang's head shot out a terrifying soul power again, turning into a black whirlpool. As soon as the Soul Whirlpool was formed, it released a shocking devouring power, devouring the Soul Battle Seals one by one. Not only that, Mo Qingyun felt that his soul was about to be torn out by the devouring power of the Soul Whirlpool. What a troublesome guy! Seeing that his attack had failed again, Mo Qingyun's face darkened and his expression became more solemn. Yin Shuoyang's level of difficulty could be said to be the most troublesome person he had encountered since his rebirth. Immediately, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and summoned his light gate martial soul. "Seal gate, seal for me." As soon as the light gate martial soul was summoned, Mo Qingyun used his martial soul superpower on Yin Shuoyang to seal his flesh and spiritual soul. Puff! Under the suppression of the seal gate, Yin Shuoyang's flesh and spiritual soul were immediately injured. He could not help but spit out a mouthful of blood, and his face turned pale. Immediately after, Yin Shuoyang's aura weakened rapidly. In a short while, Yin Shuoyang's aura was only at the peak LV8 true energy realm, and his spiritual soul cultivation was only at the early stage of the spirit origin realm. What? What is this? It can seal my bloodline power and spiritual soul. Yin Shuoyang's expression changed when he saw that his flesh and spiritual soul had been suppressed by the seal gate force. Then, he looked at Mo Qingyun with a strong sense of awe. Mo Qingyun had already made him feel a little threatened. As Yin Shuoyang looked at Mo Qingyun with respect, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate to summon his Scarlet Flame Dragon Martial Soul. Roar! As soon as the Scarlet Flame Dragon Martial Soul appeared, it let out a deep dragon roar and emitted a shocking dragon power. Blood Chi Rampage. As soon as the Scarlet Flame Dragon Martial Soul was summoned, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate to use his martial soul superpower to raise his cultivation. At this moment, Mo Qingyun did not dare to hold back when facing someone like Yin Shuoyang. Yin Shuoyang was a great threat to him. If he was not careful, he might not be able to recover. Mo Qingyun did not want to see such an outcome. Therefore, it was safest to go all out. As soon as the martial soul superpower was unleashed, Mo Qingyun's aura surged. Soon, it reached LV7 True Energy Realm. As soon as Mo Qingyun reached LV7 True Energy Realm, he felt the pressure on him decrease. At this moment, the gap between him and Yin Shuoyang was narrowed. Twin martial souls. A martial soul superpower that can raise one's cultivation. Seeing the scarlet flame dragon martial spirit and the white light gate martial spirit, Yin Shuoyang's face immediately changed, and he said in shock. At this moment, the talent that Mo Qingyun displayed had greatly exceeded his expectations. It made his heart palpitate a little. He really didn't think that the kid who was originally unremarkable in his eyes would actually have the qualifications to compete with him. Twin martial souls. This lad has twin martial souls. This lad is so talented. Which kingdom is he from? Also, this lad's martial soul superpower is so powerful. It can raise one's cultivation and suppress one's cultivation. This is too demonic. His talent seems to be higher than the 8th prince's. I did not expect there to be such an existence in a 100-kingdom battlefield. I have never heard of this lad in the 10 kingdoms. Could he be from a small kingdom? At that moment, the surrounding people from the puppet kingdom all revealed shocked expressions. Mo Qingyun's sudden display of powerful talent and strength made it difficult for them to accept in their hearts for a while. Sun-incinerating mountain-splitting saber. While everyone was shocked, Mo Qingyun slashed at Yin Shuoyang with a red silk saber in his hand. When Mo Qingyun swung his saber, a terrifying aura immediately erupted from his body. Under the shroud of Mo Qingyun's aura, everyone couldn't help but have the illusion that Mo Qingyun was the world itself. Saber force. As soon as this misconception appeared, the expressions of everyone in the puppet kingdom shook, and they were extremely surprised. Saber force. This lad has comprehended the force of heaven and earth. This lad's talent is so demonic. How many trump cards does this lad have? Does he have more powerful trump cards? With this lad's talent, we can't let him escape. Otherwise, there will be endless trouble. But with his current strength, it won't be easy for the 8th prince to keep him here unless he uses some powerful trump cards. Seeing Mo Qingyun's trump cards, the people from the puppet kingdom had a change in their expressions. They could not help but feel worried. At that moment, while everyone was shocked, Yin Shuoyang looked at Mo Qingyun with a dark expression. He said coldly, "Brat, your talent is so high that it's the first I've seen in my life. I can't bear to kill you like this." Yin Shuoyang paused and said, "Lad, I'll give you one last chance. If you submit to me now, I can still spare your life. If that's the case, there's no need for you to say anything more. Come at me if you have the ability." Mo Qingyun did not take Yin Shuoyang's words seriously. His hand movements did not slow down as he waved the red silk saber towards Yin Shuoyang. In a short while, the red silk saber emitted a shocking fire dragon saber light and slashed towards Yin Shuoyang. "Lad, since you're so stubborn, I can only destroy you." Seeing Mo Qingyun attacking him, Yin Shuoyang's expression immediately turned gloomy. Then, a ball of light appeared in Yin Shuoyang's hand, and a terrifying aura burst out. When the ball of light appeared, the sky changed color and the ground shook. "Young lord, be careful." Seeing the ball of light in Yin Shuoyang's hand, the 9 temples' expression changed, and they let out a cry of panic. When the 9 temples warned Mo Qingyun, he quickly activated the array disc of the 9 temples and released a defensive array. Pill Palace's Celestial Star. When the 9 temples attacked, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, and a sense of shock rose in his heart. The Celestial Star of the Pill Palace. The ball of light in Yin Shuoyang's hand was actually the Celestial Star of the Pill Palace. This was something that only high-level experts of the Pill Palace could condense. Moreover, high-level experts of the Pill Palace would have to pay a huge price to condense the Celestial Star of the Pill Palace. This would cause their cultivation to be unable to increase in a short period of time. Chapter 236. Teleportation Gate. After a brief moment of shock, Mo Qingyun didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately unleashed his martial soul's ability and summoned the teleportation gate. Following that, a whirlpool gate appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate and rushed into the teleportation gate, disappearing from the spot. However, before Mo Qingyun left, he didn't forget to raise his hand and take away the corpses of the eyed devils on the ground. These are good things. He couldn't waste them like this. In addition, when Mo Qingyun left, the array of the 9 temples was completed. A light screen appeared where they left. The appearance of the light screen blocked Mo Qingyun's teleportation gate, causing the people from the puppet kingdom to be unable to see the teleportation gate. After the light screen of the array was completely formed, Yin Shuiyang's Pill Palace's heavenly dipper collided with the light screen. Bang! An earth-shattering sound rang out. Following that, a terrifying surge of heavenly lightning erupted from the light screen of the formation. The moment the heavenly thunder force appeared, it was like a dam bursting. With an earth-shattering force, it spread out in all directions. Under the heavenly thunder force, the surrounding ground immediately formed layers of mud waves that surged towards the surroundings. In just a short while, the area of 1 mile around the entrance of the Heixian Palace turned into a huge pit that was filled with flames and heavenly thunder force. At this moment, the area outside the Heixian Palace had turned into a barren land. Looking at the scene in front of them, the people from the puppet kingdom were terrified. Their hearts were still beating fast. If they hadn't run fast enough and stayed some distance away from the place where the heavenly thunder force exploded, they would have been roasted into dried corpses by the aftershocks. What a terrifying Pill Palace's celestial body. High-level Pill Palace experts are indeed terrifying. Seeing that a single Pill Palace's celestial body had caused such destruction, the people from the puppet kingdom were shocked. At this moment, the reverence he had for the experts from the high-tier Pill Palace increased by a lot. That kid should be dead, right? Just now, I saw him setting up an array to defend against the Pill Palace's heavenly dipper. That brat is too naive if he wants to rely on a single array to block the terrifying heavenly star of the Pill Palace. Now, there's no longer a light screen of the array in this deep pit. The array should have been destroyed by the astral lightning of the Pill Palace. Without the protection of the formation, that kid is dead for sure. At this moment, the people of the puppet kingdom looked at the land of flames and astral lightning before them and sighed. While the crowd was sighing, Yin Shuiyang's expression changed slightly. He sighed inwardly. Although I wasted a Pill Palace's heaven star, it was worth it to get rid of this monstrous kid. Based on Yin Shuiyang's words, it was obvious that he was still very wary of Mo Qingyun's innate talent. Boom, 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 boom. At this moment, while Yin Shuiyang and the others were astonished, a loud explosion sounded from the flames and lightning. Following that, the earth quaked and the mountains shook. The entire ground started to shake. At this moment, the door of the Heixian Palace, which had been tightly shut, slowly opened. Seeing the door of the Heixian Palace open, a young man beside Yin Shuiyang asked, "Eighth Prince, the entrance of the Heixian Palace is now filled with flames and astral lightning. We can't go through. What should we do next?" Hearing the words of the young man beside him, Yin Shuiyang frowned slightly. After pondering for a while, he said, "Don't be in a hurry to enter the Heixian Palace. Wait for the flames and astral lightning outside the palace to weaken a little before we enter the Heixian Palace." After replying to the young man, Yin Shuiyang instructed, "Yin Air, let everyone rest and recuperate. When the flames and astral lightning weaken a little, we will enter the Heixian Palace." "Yes, Eighth Prince." Hearing Yin Shuiyang's words, Yinda immediately responded and instructed everyone. While Yin Shuiyang and the rest were recuperating, outside the Heixian Valley, a whirlpool of light suddenly appeared. Following that, a young man of 17 or 18 years old walked out from it. This young man was naturally Mo Qingyun, who had used his martial soul's ability to escape through the teleportation gate. Phew, that was close. This time I almost died there. After walking out of the teleportation gate, Mo Qingyun let out a deep breath. His expression was one of lingering fear as he said those words of relief. Following that, Mo Qingyun's expression turned serious as he said, I didn't expect Yin Shuyang to possess the Pill Palace's celestial spirits. It seems like the next time I meet him, I'll have to be more careful. If it wasn't for his martial soul's ability, the teleportation gate, he would have failed miserably. While Mo Qingyun was rejoicing, the Nine Temples revealed a look of shock and suspicion. He clearly remembered that he was setting up a formation just now. How did he end up here the moment the formation was completed? After a brief moment of confusion, the Nine Temples' expression suddenly changed. As if he had thought of something, he immediately exclaimed, Teleportation. The young lord can actually teleport. This discovery shocked the Nine Temples quite a bit. His mind was in a daze for a moment. Teleportation was a technique that only Supremes could use. Mo Qingyun was only at the true energy realm, but he was able to do it. This ability had already broken the knowledge of the Nine Temples. It was simply too terrifying. After a brief moment of shock, the Nine Temples carefully asked Mo Qingyun, Young Lord, what did you just do? It's just a type of teleportation technique. Hearing the Nine Temples' question, Mo Qingyun didn't hide it and directly replied to the Nine Temples. With his relationship with the Nine Temples, there was no need to hide it. There's actually such a technique? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Nine Temples was once again shocked. Shortly after, he said with a bitter tone, If I had known that the young lord had such a technique, I wouldn't have set up the formation just now. Hearing the Nine Temples' words, Mo Qingyun revealed a puzzled expression and asked, Why do you say that? Young lord, in order to block Yin Shuyang's Pill Palace's Heaven Star, I have already used up 80% of the formation energy in the Nine Temples formation disk. The Nine Temples' tone was somewhat gloomy as he continued. If we don't replenish the formation energy as soon as possible, the Nine Temples formation disk won't be able to set up any more formations in the future. We won't even be able to set up a teleportation formation. Hearing the Nine Temples' words, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, and he asked in a deep voice, What kind of things do we need to replenish the formation energy in the Nine Temples formation disk? Hearing Mo Qingyun's question, the Nine Temples replied, You just need to find the star pattern formation stones. There should be some in the 100 countries battlefield. I've seen them before. Star pattern formation stones? I'll have someone take note of them in the future. After hearing this, Mo Qingyun nodded and said in a deep voice, Now that the entrance to the Hexian Palace is blocked by flames and lightning, I'm afraid we won't be able to enter the Hexian Palace for the time being. I can make use of this time to refine those demons. With that, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately started refining the demons. As Mo Qingyun refined the demons, the bloodline power in the demons was immediately extracted by Mo Qingyun. Once the demon bloodline was extracted, Mo Qingyun rapidly refined it to strengthen his bloodline. Just like that, time passed little by little as Mo Qingyun cultivated. The connection with one of the soul assimilating imprints has been severed. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun was refining the demon bloodline, his heart suddenly shook and a sense of unease rose in his heart. He had just sensed that the connection between him and one of the soul assimilating imprints had been severed. This meant that one of the people he had planted the soul assimilating imprint on had died. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun's heart immediately sank, and he guessed, could it be that the people of the 10 Kingdoms have attacked Pink City? I wonder how Brother Lu and the others are now. After feeling slightly worried, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and thought to himself, I have set up the minor heavenly cycle star formation outside Brother Lu and the others' cultivation room. As long as they don't come out, they shouldn't be in any danger. After thinking about that, Mo Qingyun felt more at ease. He continued to refine the demons and waited for the power of fire and thunder outside Hexian's palace to weaken. Just like that, another 5 days passed. The devil in Mo Qingyun's hands was finally completely refined. After these days of cultivation, Mo Qingyun's heavenly soul magic eye bloodline power had been strengthened quite a bit. Now, Mo Qingyun was confident that if he were to encounter Yin Chuyang's puppet eye power ray again, he would definitely be able to defeat it forcefully. The power of fire and thunder outside He Xian's palace has weakened. I can enter He Xian's palace now. When he realized that the power of fire and thunder outside He Xian's palace had weakened, Mo Qingyun was immediately overjoyed and looked anxious. Chapter 237. The flames and lightning at the entrance of He Xian Hall have weakened. Let's enter He Xian Hall. Yin Xiaoyang's expression changed when he saw that the flames and lightning outside He Xian Hall had weakened. He spoke coldly to the people around him. Then, Yin Xiaoyang took the lead and walked forward towards He Xian Hall. Whoosh! At this moment, when Yin Xiaoyang and the others were heading towards He Xian Hall, a stream of light streaked across the sky. Soon, the stream of light rushed into He Xian Hall. Someone had entered He Xian Hall first. Someone entered He Xian Hall first? Yin Xiaoyang and the others' expressions changed when they saw this scene. Their faces darkened as they said anxiously, "Let's speed up. We can't let that person take the lead." Then, Yin Xiaoyang and the others sped up and chased after the person in front of them. Yin Xiaoyang's expression was ferocious as he chased after the person in front of him. He gritted his teeth and said, "No matter who you are, you will definitely die if you try to snatch what belongs to me, Yin Xiaoyang." Yin Xiaoyang was very angry now. He did not expect to encounter so much trouble on this trip to He Xian Hall. He had just taken care of a brat who gave him a headache. In the blink of an eye, another troublemaker had appeared and wanted to ruin his good deed. This kind of thing had already touched the bottom line of his tolerance. As Yin Xiaoyang and the others moved forward swiftly, it wasn't long before they'd enter the hall as well. As soon as they entered He Xian Hall, they saw many passageways appear before them. These passageways were like dragon boat racing Venus. There was a black iron boat in each river. Judging from the current situation, it seemed that if they wanted to reach the other side, they would have to use these boats. However, what puzzled everyone was that there was a red furnace beside the boat in the river, emitting a terrifying heat wave. At this moment, after the people from Puppet Kingdom scanned the scene before them, they suddenly saw a young figure standing in one of the passageways. This person should be the one who entered He Xian Hall first. It's him. After seeing this person's appearance, the expressions of the Puppet Kingdom's people changed, and they all revealed shocked expressions. This person was actually Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun actually did not die and escaped from the attack of Yin Xiaoyang's Pill Palace. Moreover, he entered He Xian Hall in front of them. After this discovery, the people from Puppet Kingdom felt a little sullen and gloomy in their hearts. In the previous confrontation, He Xian's Soul Seal, Yin Xiaoyang's Soul Seal Hall was also used martial arts seal. Yin Yan's Xian Hall used martial. Sis used twos pills Yanz's. Force Yanz's palaces as marshals Solit's escape. Xian Sun, there wasn't Xian Saws. In this way, they seem to have suffered a crushing defeat in the previous confrontation outside He Xian Hall. After thinking about this, the people from Puppet Kingdom couldn't help but feel defeated. "Kid, you're still alive." Seeing Mo Qingyun not far away, Yin Xiaoyang's face turned gloomy. He gritted his teeth as he spoke. He felt extremely humiliated that he wasn't able to kill Mo Qingyun even after using the Pill Palace's celestial spirits. "You guys aren't dead, so how can I be dead?" Hearing Yin Xiaoyang's words, Mo Qingyun didn't take it to heart. He curled his lips and replied to Yin Xiaoyang, "Eighth Prince, let's join hands and kill this kid. He's in He Xian Hall now. This time, he won't be able to escape." As soon as the people from Puppet Kingdom finished speaking, they looked at Mo Qingyun with hatred and attacked Mo Qingyun. "Stop!" Seeing this person attack, Yin Xiaoyang's expression changed, and he tried to stop him. However, his words were still too slow. As he spoke, the person had already leaped forward and struck out with his palm. Boom! However, when this person attacked, a black gas blasted towards him at an extremely fast speed, instantly blasting him into dregs and turning him into dust. Hiss! Seeing this, everyone's expression changed, and they sucked in a breath of cold air. Fear was written all over their faces. The person who attacked was at the peak of true energy realm level 8. Even so, a black gas was able to turn him into ashes. The black gas was too terrifying. Everyone, don't be reckless. Hei Xian Hall has Hei Xian's Qi. If you attack here, you'll be attacked by the Hei Xian's Qi. After the person was destroyed by the black gas, Yin Xiuyang's expression turned gloomy. He reminded the people around him, Hei Xian Hall has a total of 3 tests. It won't be too late to deal with that kid after we pass the 3 tests. Yes, 8th Prince. Hearing Yin Xiuyang's words, the people from Puppet Kingdom immediately nodded in response and looked at Mo Qingyun with hatred. The first test is called Hard Across. At this moment, Yin Xiuyang explained to the people around him, if you want to reach the other side, you have to row over with the help of this small boat. However, if you want to row over, you have to float the small boat. Yin Xiuyang continued, if you want to float the small boat, you have to use the furnace beside the small boat. You have to continuously throw things into the furnace to melt them into liquid. Then, you can lift the small boat up. Speaking of which, the first test is one of wealth. I see. Hearing Yin Xiuyang's explanation, the people from Puppet Kingdom immediately understood and knew how to pass the first test. At this moment, one of them looked at Yin Xiuyang in confusion and asked, 8th Prince, can any item be used? That's right. Yin Xiuyang nodded and said in a deep voice, however, in comparison, metal refining materials have the best effect. The people from the Puppet Kingdom rejoiced when they heard Yin Xiuyang's words. They said in pleasant surprise, 8th Prince, everyone from our Puppet Kingdom has a large amount of puppet refining materials in their cosmos pouches. This stage is nothing difficult for us. Immediately after, the people from Puppet Kingdom began to throw the refining materials into the furnace to melt them into liquid and float the small boat. At this moment, when the people from Puppet Kingdom threw the refining materials into the furnace, they were all proud and showed off to Mo Qingyun. Boy, are you so poor that you don't have anything to throw into the furnace to melt into liquid to lift the small boat up? We have a lot of refining materials in our cosmos bags. Do you want us to give you some? Boy, you'd better wait obediently at the side and watch us row over. I think this Xiaoxin must be very depressed right now. It's as uncomfortable as a fly that ate shit. That's right. This boy was the first to enter Hei Xian Palace, but he can only watch us go over. He must be very depressed. At this moment, the people from Puppet Kingdom were all proud and mocking Mo Qingyun. They seemed to be able to see Mo Qingyun's envious expression as they all rode to the other side. However, while the people from Puppet Kingdom were proud, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and thanked them. So this is how I pass. Thank you for telling me how to pass. With that, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to throw the refining materials into the furnace. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, the faces of the people from Puppet Kingdom immediately became rather ugly. Their actions at this moment seemed to have lifted a rock only to drop it on their own feet. They had solved Mo Qingyun's problem. After discovering this, Yin Xiuyang's face immediately paled. He berated the people beside him. You idiots, if you ruin my plans because of this, I won't forgive you. 8th Prince, please calm down. We were wrong. The faces of the people from Puppet Kingdom immediately twitched when they heard Yin Xiuyang's words. Fear filled their faces. Yin Xiuyang's expression changed slightly when he saw everyone's expressions. He looked at Mo Qingyun and said coldly, Boy, even if you know how to pass, the materials required are not something you can afford. Really? The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth twitched when he heard Yin Xiuyang's words. He smiled faintly and said, Since that's the case, then take a good look and see if I have enough materials. The moment he spoke, Mo Qingyun's hand movement immediately sped up. He frantically threw in refining materials into the smelting furnace. When it came to the quantity of materials, Mo Qingyun was no weaker than Yin Xiuyang and the others. He had a stockpile of several thousand people's worth of materials. Under Mo Qingyun's crazy throwing, the amount of liquid in his river immediately increased rapidly. Before long, the amount of liquid in Mo Qingyun's river had far surpassed the people from Puppet Kingdom. Yin Xiuyang's face immediately sank when he saw this. He seemed to have miscalculated again. As for the other people from Puppet Kingdom, they paled in fright. Cold sweat covered their foreheads. From the looks of it, Mo Qingyun really might be able to pass through easily because of what they had done earlier. How is this possible? How does this kid have so many materials? This must be fake. How could this kid have more refining materials than us? I know. This kid killed several thousand people outside the treasure trove of the 9 temples. He must have obtained his materials from them. Oh no, I actually forgot about that. We're in trouble now. Looks like this kid really is going to pass through easily. We seem to have ruined the 8th prince's plans. At that moment, the people from Puppet Kingdom all became gloomy. Panic rose up within them. Originally, they wanted to use this opportunity to mock Mo Qingyun, but they never thought that they would end up helping Mo Qingyun instead. This outcome made them extremely depressed. Their current actions could be said to be shooting themselves in the foot. However, they could not be blamed for that. How could they have imagined that after Mo Qingyun killed those thousands of people outside the 9 Palaces vault, he would collect all of their Qinkuan bags and carry them with him? Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he saw the expressions of the people from Puppet Kingdom. He said, I have no less materials than you. You've miscalculated this time. The people from Puppet Kingdom immediately became furious when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. However, they could not do anything to Mo Qingyun. Chapter 238. Mo Qingyun did not pay attention to Yin Xiuyang and the others. He focused on throwing refining materials into the furnace. Under Mo Qingyun's crazy throwing, the solution in the river quickly increased. At the same time, the boat slowly floated up. The boat floated up in the solution, which meant that Mo Qingyun could row the boat across the river. However, Mo Qingyun did not immediately start rowing the boat. Instead, he continued to throw refining materials into the smelting furnace. His idea was that if more liquid was smelted, the buoyancy would be greater. In that case, it would be easier for him to row later. Besides, he had a lot of refining materials on him, so he did not lack this little bit. However, compared to Mo Qingyun, the situation of the people from the Puppet Kingdom was not so optimistic. As time passed, the speed at which they threw in refining materials became slower and slower. Every time they threw in refining materials, they would have to think about it, as if they were comparing the value of the materials. Seeing the actions of the people from the Puppet Kingdom, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and mocked them. Didn't you say that there were a lot of refining materials? Why is it so slow? Could it be that you've run out of refining materials? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of the people from the Puppet Kingdom immediately stiffened, and they blushed with embarrassment. Just a moment ago, they were still mocking Mo Qingyun, wondering if he did not have refining materials to throw into the smelting furnace. However, in the blink of an eye, the same thing happened to them. It was really karmic retribution. However, the time of this retribution was a little too short. The people of the Puppet Kingdom didn't expect that in order to float this small boat, they would need so many refining materials. Judging from the current situation, the amount of solution needed to float the boat seemed to have exceeded their limit. At that moment, while the people from the Puppet Kingdom were feeling depressed, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and said to them, If you don't have enough materials, how about I lend you some? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, everyone from the Puppet Kingdom became even more depressed. However, without waiting for them to get angry, Mo Qingyun's expression suddenly changed. He said to them, I almost forgot. It is impossible to move between the various rivers in this He Xian Palace. It seems that I can't help you. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Even if the people from the puppet kingdom were stupid, they knew that Mo Qingyun was playing with them. Kid, you don't have to be too proud. At this moment, the people from the puppet kingdom all had gloomy expressions. One of them said arrogantly, "Isn't it just some puppet refining materials? This won't be a problem for us." As soon as this person finished speaking, he took out several types of puppet refining materials, each of which was relatively rare. After taking out the puppet refining materials, the person's face immediately revealed a pained expression. He clenched his teeth and threw them into the furnace. Looking at his current appearance, he was very reluctant to part with them. He wasn't as relaxed as he made it sound. Black gold essence, ice soul cold stone, flame smoke copper. Seeing this person's actions, Mo Qingyun was startled at first. Then, he clicked his tongue and said, "Tiske. These materials are all very precious. Any one of them is worth several million spirit essence stones. Now you're wasting them like this. You're really too wasteful. If your family's elders knew that you were wasting things like this, they would probably die from anger. Kid, I don't need you to worry about my matters." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the person's expression immediately twitched. It seemed that Mo Qingyun's words had hit the nail on the head. As the person beside him gnashed his teeth in anger, Yin Xiaoyang revealed a disdainful expression. He added, "It's just some puppet refining materials. Once we obtain the things in this Xin palace, everything will be worth it." "Oh, is that so?" Hearing Yin Xiaoyang's words, Mo Qingyun's smile became even wider. He said, "I'm just worried that if you waste these materials now, you won't be able to obtain anything later. Then you'll suffer a great loss." "Kid, shut up for me." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the people from the puppet kingdom nearly went crazy. Mo Qingyun's actions at this moment were clearly poking at their sore spot. He was specifically tearing at their scars. Moreover, he was hitting the nail on the head. At this moment, before the anger in the hearts of the people from the puppet kingdom dissipated, a scene that made them vomit blood occurred. After they threw in the precious puppet refining materials into the furnace, not only did the boat not float, it instead sank. After seeing this scene, the people from the puppet kingdom were dumbfounded. For a moment, they didn't understand what was going on. How could this be? At this moment, the hearts of the people from the puppet kingdom were filled with doubts. How sad! Seeing the puzzled faces of the people from the puppet kingdom, Mo Qingyun looked at them sympathetically and said, "Don't you know about the density of objects? The density of the refined silver crystals you threw in earlier has already surpassed the density of the refined metals used to refine the boat. It would really be strange if your boat floated." As Mo Qingyun spoke, Yin Xiaoyang and the others on the side could no longer hold back. He roared at the people from the puppet kingdom. "You idiots! If you've used up all the puppet refining materials, then throw in something else." Yin Xiaoyang was extremely annoyed right now. He never thought that so many materials would be needed to float the boat. Currently, he had pretty much used up all the puppet refining materials in his pouch of cosmos. If this still didn't work, he could only throw in other materials. At this moment, just as the people from the puppet kingdom became gloomy, Mo Qingyun stopped what he was doing. There was already enough liquid in the river, so there was no need to continue refining things. "Everyone, please continue. I won't be accompanying you." Soon after, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and walked to the boat. He greeted Yin Xiaoyang with a smile and rowed the boat to the other side. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, one of the people from the puppet kingdom became furious and said coldly, "Humph, I don't believe that I can't cross without the liquid. Idiot, come back." Yin Xiaoyang's expression immediately changed when he saw this person's actions, and he roared at him. However, as Yin Xiaoyang spoke, this person had already pushed the boat forward. At this moment, as this person pushed the boat forward, sizzling sounds constantly came from the bottom of his boat, and strands of fire appeared. Puffed. Soon, a hole appeared at the bottom of his boat. The bottom of his boat had been pierced through. Puffed. As soon as this person's boat was pierced through, a black gas blasted out from the bottom of the river and instantly blasted him to smithereens. Seeing this, The expressions of the people from the puppet kingdom immediately twitched. They no longer dared to take any chances and obediently continued to throw in items. A moment later, after the people from the puppet kingdom paid the price of vomiting blood, their boat finally floated up and they could barely row the boat forward. However, their speed was not much faster than a snail. Compared to Mo Qingyun, they were far inferior. Just like this, under the resentful expressions of Yin Xiuyang and the others, Mo Qingyun easily reached the other side of the river. "Everyone, I'll be going first." After reaching the other side of the river, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and called out to Yin Xiuyang and the others. Seeing Mo Qingyun reach the other side of the river, the people from the puppet kingdom had ugly expressions. They revealed expressions of envy, jealousy, and resentment. "Kid, don't be so proud. Even if you pass the first stage, you won't be able to pass the second stage. That's right, it's only the first stage. It's just success or failure. Don't be too proud. It won't be long before we catch up to you, or even surpass you, and enter the third stage before you." At that moment, the people from the puppet kingdom all began to grumble about what was going on. "Is that so?" Mo Qingyun did not pay any attention to their words. He only smiled faintly before disappearing from their sight. He entered the interior of the Heixian Palace and began the second stage of the trial. "Kid, even if you pass the second stage, you definitely won't be able to pass the third stage." Yin Xiuyang's face sank when he saw Mo Qingyun vanish from his sight. He gritted his teeth and said, "The items in the Heixian Palace only belong to me. No one else can obtain them." The other people from the puppet kingdom were surprised when they heard Yin Xiuyang's words. They asked in confusion, "Eighth Prince, you can't stop that kid in the second stage." "I can't stop him in the second stage." Yin Xiuyang's face became even uglier when he heard the questions from the people beside him. He replied coldly, Chapter 239. After entering the second stage, a black lake appeared in front of Mo Qingyun, emitting a black gas. "This is He Xian's qi." Seeing the black gas floating in the black lake, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed, and he was shocked. In the first stage, he saw how the people from the puppet kingdom were easily killed by this He Xian's qi. After a short moment of shock, Mo Qingyun moved his gaze away from the He Xian's qi. Then, Mo Qingyun saw that above the black lake, there was a simple arched bridge that connected the two sides of the lake. In the center of the arched bridge, there was a platform that was about 10 square meters wide. At the center of the platform stood a black-haired young man. "There's someone here." Seeing the black-haired young man in the center of the platform, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, revealing a trace of surprise as he sized up the black-haired young man. With one look, Mo Qingyun was immediately stunned, almost unable to believe his eyes. The black-haired young man in the center of the platform actually looked exactly like him. "Young lord, don't be surprised. This is a clone created by He Xian's incarnation." At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was still in shock, the 9 temples explained to him, "If this old servant's guess is correct, this stage should be to test the talent of the person who comes and let them defeat someone with the same ability as you." Hearing the 9 temples' words, Mo Qingyun's expression was shocked, and he asked curiously, "Are all abilities the same?" "In theory, yes." The 9 temples nodded, and after a moment of thought, said, "However, some special methods may not be able to be replicated, such as heaven-defying magic treasures, powerful bloodlines, and some abilities, etc., should not be able to be replicated completely. If that's the case, this He Xian's incarnation is not difficult to deal with." Hearing the 9 temples' words, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed slightly, and he stood up and walked towards the arched bridge. Not long after, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of the incarnation and confronted it. Like him, this incarnation was at the 5th level of the true energy realm, and his soul was at the middle stage of the spirit origin realm. "I'm the guardian of the second stage. If you want to enter the next stage, you must defeat me." While Mo Qingyun was sizing up the incarnation's face coldly and spoke to Mo. The incarnation continued. When you fight me, you can't rely on external forces. So, don't try to rely on the powerful soul inside your treasure. He actually knows of the existence of the 9 temples. Hearing this, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed. A hint of surprise appeared on his face. He was somewhat surprised by the ability of the incarnation. If that's the case, then do it. After a brief moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun didn't waste time talking nonsense with him. As soon as he finished speaking, he directly attacked him. Fire Dragon Seal. Mo Qingyun raised his hand and summoned the 81 Fire Dragon Seals, which transformed into a Fire Dragon shield and blasted towards the incarnation. Not only that, but when Mo Qingyun attacked, he also released his 3rd level of profound meaning. Fire Dragon Seal. When Mo Qingyun attacked, the incarnation also released the Fire Dragon Seal, forming a Fire Dragon shield, and clashed with Mo Qingyun. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that when the incarnation attacked, it also released its 3rd level of Fire Profound Meaning. He did not expect the incarnation to be able to imitate profound meaning. Bang! Then, the 2 Fire Dragon shields collided with each other, producing a loud sound. A violent flame energy surged out from the collision. Under the raging fire profound meaning, Mo Qingyun's incarnation was forced to retreat, temporarily avoiding the attack. Judging from this scene, Mo Qingyun and the incarnation's incarnation were evenly matched. As expected, he has the same ability as me. Even his profound meaning is the same. After this exchange, Mo Qingyun had a rough understanding of the incarnation's ability. Then, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly as he pondered, I wonder if the incarnation can be imitated by the martial soul and martial soul superpower. Once this thought came to his mind, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately summoned his martial soul to verify his guess. Scarlet Flame Dragon, appear. Under Mo Qingyun's summon, a huge scarlet figure immediately appeared above him, exuding a dragon's might. Blood Chi Berserk. After summoning the Scarlet Flame Dragon martial soul, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately used his martial soul superpower. Once the martial soul superpower was used, Mo Qingyun's aura instantly soared. In a short while, Mo Qingyun's aura reached LV7 True Energy Realm. However, what shocked Mo Qingyun was that when he summoned his martial soul, the incarnation also summoned his martial soul. Just like him, the incarnation also summoned the Scarlet Flame Dragon martial soul. After the incarnation summoned his martial soul, he also used his martial soul superpower to increase the intensity of his blood chi. In a short while, the incarnation's aura also reached LV7 True Energy Realm. It can even imitate the martial soul and martial soul superpower. This incarnation is so powerful. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun was immediately shocked, and his face turned grave. He did not expect the incarnation to be able to imitate the martial soul and martial soul superpower. This was simply too shocking. However, at the same time, Mo Qingyun's heart was also filled with joy. The stronger the incarnation's combat strength was, the greater the increase in his strength after he obtained the Heixian incarnation. I don't believe that you can imitate the twin martial souls. At this moment, Mo Qingyun showed an expression of disbelief and summoned the Light Gate martial soul. Light Gate martial soul, appear. Under Mo Qingyun's summon, a huge white light gate appeared above him, exuding an ancient aura. At this moment, after Mo Qingyun summoned the Light Gate martial soul, the incarnation was finally unable to imitate his ability. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun smiled proudly and said, "Finally, there's something that you can't imitate." At this moment, when Mo Qingyun was speaking, his heart skipped a beat. He thought to himself, the Light Gate martial soul is indeed more mysterious than the Scarlet Flame Dragon martial soul. The incarnation really can't imitate it. After thinking for a short while, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately attacked the incarnation. Seal gate, seal for me. As soon as the martial soul superpower was used, a mini-light gate immediately attacked the incarnation. Puff! Under the attack of the seal gate, the incarnation spat out a mouthful of black blood, and the aura on his body weakened rapidly. After a short while, the incarnation's cultivation fell back to LV5 True Energy Realm. After using the martial soul superpower on the incarnation, Mo Qingyun's expression changed slightly. He thought to himself, I wonder if the incarnation can imitate the saber force. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately tested it. Sun incinerating mountains splitting saber. Then, without hesitation, Mo Qingyun raised his saber and slashed at the incarnation. As the red silk saber fell, a shocking aura exploded from Mo Qingyun's body as he released the saber force. In order to test his idea, Mo Qingyun did not release the level 3 fire ultimacy. Soon, Mo Qingyun's idea was verified. At this moment, when he released the saber force, the incarnation did not release the saber force or the ultimacy. After realizing this, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up, and he said with a look of realization, does this mean that the incarnation becomes stronger when it meets a stronger opponent? Whatever I use, it will use the same method. If I only attack normally, it will only retaliate normally? After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun smiled evilly and said, if that's the case, it will be much easier to deal with you. Immediately after, Mo Qingyun slashed at the clone again. His attack carried the power of the blade force as it slashed down on the clone. Facing Mo Qingyun, who was 2 levels higher than the incarnation and had the saber force to support it. At this moment, under Mo Qingyun's attack, the clone could not even put up a fight before it was forcefully blasted away. Under Mo Qingyun's blade, the incarnation's body was directly destroyed and dissipated between heaven and earth. Congratulations on passing. After the incarnation was destroyed, a low voice was heard and entered Mo Qingyun's ears. Then, the voice continued, as the first person to pass, you will receive a He Xian incarnation. As soon as he said that, a black figure appeared before Mo Qingyun. This was He Xian incarnation. However, the He Xian incarnation's aura was very weak. It only had a body-tempering realm cultivation and did not have any consciousness. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and put it into his Qingquan bag. After passing the 3 tests, he would refine the He Xian incarnation. Seeing that he had passed the test, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and walked to the other side of the bridge. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun walked to the other side of the bridge, his expression suddenly changed and a sense of surprise rose in his heart. Just a moment ago, he suddenly sensed that he had lost connection with a soul-assimilating imprint. This meant that another person who had been imprinted with a soul-assimilating imprint had died. Another person has died. After realizing this, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, and the uneasiness in his heart grew stronger. At this moment, Mo Qingyun frowned and looked worried. He thought to himself, I hope that Ling Luo and the others are fine. Otherwise, I won't be able to save them in He Xian Palace. Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer. He stood up and walked towards the 3rd stage. At this moment, just as Mo Qingyun walked to the 3rd test, Yin Shuiyang arrived at the 2nd test. When Yin Shuiyang arrived at the 2nd test, an incarnation appeared in the middle of the bridge. When he saw this, Yin Shuiyang did not hesitate and immediately attacked the incarnation. However, Yin Shuiyang seemed to be very familiar with the incarnation's abilities and did not use any of his trump cards when he attacked. Although this weakened the strength of his attacks, he could clearly suppress the incarnation. He seemed to be using his battle experience to suppress the incarnation. Indeed, with Yin Shuiyang's rich battle experience, the incarnation was in danger and was killed by Yin Shuiyang in a short while. Congratulations on passing. After the incarnation was killed, a low voice was heard. It congratulated Yin Xiaoyang and said, "As you're the one who passed the second test, you won't be able to receive the reward." The second one. When he heard this, Yin Xiaoyang's face sank. He gritted his teeth and said, "Damn brat, you've ruined my plans again. However, don't even think about snatching the item from me for the third test." Chapter 240. By the time Yin Xiaoyang entered the second trial, Mo Qingyun had already arrived at the third trial. The location of the third trial was a huge palace. In the middle of the palace was a huge golden chair. Sitting on it was a huge black figure with its eyes closed, as if it was in a deep sleep. "Little guy, congratulations on making it here." At this time, as Mo Qingyun was sizing up the palace, a cold voice came from the black figure. "However, if you want to receive my inheritance, you must pass my final trial." "You are He Xian, Star General?" Seeing the black figure sitting on the huge golden chair, Mo Qingyun's expression changed, revealing a look of surprise. "I didn't expect you to know me. However, I am now just a remnant of my will." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the black figure's tone was slightly startled, and it said indifferently, "Little guy, I sense a familiar aura from your body. Let him come out and meet me." After hearing the black figure's words, the Nine Temples disc array blossomed with a ball of light, and a white figure flew out. It was the Nine Temples. After the Nine Temples flew out from the Nine Temples disc array, it revealed a faint smile and said to the black figure, "Star General He Xian, long time no see. So, is the Nine Temples Star General? I didn't expect you to still be alive." Seeing the Nine Temples appear, He Xian Star General let out a cry of surprise, and there was a hint of envy in her voice. In response to He Xian's envious words, the Nine Temples smiled bitterly and replied, "It's just a remnant soul, not much better than you. He Xian, this is my new master. Pass your inheritance to him." "You actually recognized him as your master?" Hearing the Nine Temples' words, He Xian's tone changed, and he seemed to be somewhat shocked. He Xian Star General obviously couldn't understand. With the Nine Temples' strength in the past, they actually recognized a true energy realm brat as their master. To him, such a thing was too strange and illogical. However, after a brief moment of shock, He Xian's tone became cold again. "The Nine Temples. You must have had your help to come here, right?" "Wrong, wrong, very wrong." Hearing He Xian's words, the Nine Temples hurriedly waved their hands and explained, "The young lord was able to come here by his own ability. It has nothing to do with me." "Fine. Since he passed my first two tests, he has the qualifications to receive my inheritance." As soon as He Xian finished speaking, a purple fragment flew out from his body. He said, "Little guy, if you can trigger the reaction of this purple fragment, you will pass my test." "He Xian, I didn't think you would still be so stubborn." Seeing He Xian's actions, the Nine Temples sighed. Just as the Nine Temples sighed, the purple fragment flew in front of Mo Qingyun. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and grabbed it. He asked, "What do I need to do?" "Drip a drop of blood on it." He Xian slowly said. Hearing this, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate. He directly cut his finger and dripped some blood on the purple fragment. Then, Mo Qingyun's blood dripped onto the purple fragment, which immediately released a dazzling purple light. Seeing this, He Xian fell silent and didn't say anything for a long time. Seeing He Xian fall silent, Mo Qingyun was confused and asked, "Did I pass?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, He Xian sighed and said, "No wonder the Nine Temples old man brought you here." "So you are." After sighing, He Xian didn't say anything else and fell silent again. Boom, boom, boom. After He Xian fell silent, his chair slowly moved, revealing a passage behind him. "You can go up." After the passage appeared, He Xian said to Mo Qingyun, indicating for Mo Qingyun to enter the passage. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He stood up and walked into the passage. Seeing Mo Qingyun enter the passage, the Nine Temples hurriedly followed. However, just as the Nine Temples was about to enter the passage, he turned to He Xian and asked, He Xian, do you want to follow the young lord with me? I'm just a remnant thought now. Even if I follow him, I won't be able to help him. Hearing the Nine Temples' words, He Xian replied and said in a low voice, let's not talk about this for now. We'll talk about it when he comes out. Right now, an old friend is here and I want to see him. You should go up too. Okay. Hearing He Xian's words, the Nine Temples didn't say anything else and followed Mo Qingyun into the passage. After the Nine Temples entered the passage, He Xian's chair slowly moved again and soon sealed the passage. When the passage was sealed, a figure entered the hall. This figure was Yin Xiuyang. When Yin Xiuyang arrived at the hall, he revealed a cold smile. He said to He Xian, He Xian, give me your He Xian incarnation cultivation method and that thing. At this moment, Yin Xiuyang seemed to be talking to an old friend. However, his tone was very domineering. I'm very sorry. Before you came, someone had already passed my test. Hearing Yin Xiuyang's words, He Xian replied indifferently. Now that my He Xian incarnation and that thing have a new owner, I can't give them to you. Hearing He Xian's words, Yin Xiuyang's face immediately darkened, and he said with a ferocious expression, He Xian, you'd rather give such an important thing to a stranger than give it to me? This is the owner's choice. I'm just following orders. In response to Yin Xiuyang's questioning, He Xian's tone was still indifferent. He replied indifferently, you can leave. On account of our friendship, I won't make things difficult for you. He Xian, I hope you won't regret your actions today. Hearing He Xian's words, Yin Xiuyang's face darkened. He did not linger any longer and got up to leave. Yin Xiuyang knew that he had just been reincarnated and could not do anything to He Xian. If he continued to stay, he would only be humiliating himself. I'm just a remnant consciousness now. What's there to regret? He Xian replied calmly in response to Yin Xiuyang's threat. He did not take it to heart at all. He continued, you're still the same as before. However, I still have to remind you that you'd better not touch that little fellow. He Xian, do you think you still have the right to say that to me? Yin Xiuyang said disdainfully when he heard He Xian's words. His face darkened as he said, given that little fellow's strength, he still can't refine and absorb that thing. He won't be able to escape from my clutches. Huh. After Yin Xiuyang finished speaking, he let out an arrogant laugh and walked out of the hall. I didn't think that this fellow would be reincarnated. He even tried to take over the owner's things. Looks like people who don't know their place will never know their place. He Xian sighed inwardly as he watched Yin Xiuyang leave the hall. His tone was somewhat worried as he said, I wonder if those fellows have been reincarnated as well. If they have, it will be troublesome. I hope that little fellow can grow up smoothly. Sigh. At this moment, just as He Xian was sighing inwardly, Mo Qingyun and the Nine Temples walked to the end of the passageway and arrived at a secret room. As soon as Mo Qingyun entered the secret room, he saw array formation runes that were constantly flashing with dazzling light. At the center of these array formation runes was a model of a palace the size of a lunchbox that was constantly flashing with light. When the Nine Temples saw this, they said in a deep voice, Young Lord, this is the core array formation of He Xian Palace. This small palace is the central hub of He Xian Palace. Once you refine it, you will be able to take away the entire He Xian Palace. Oh, is that so? When he heard the Nine Temples' words, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed. He was astonished. As long as he refined this central hub, he would be able to take away the entire He Xian Palace. This was something that he had never heard of, even with his experience as a supreme being. After a short moment of astonishment, Mo Qingyun's gaze shifted. He looked towards the side of the array formations hub. Then, 3 items entered Mo Qingyun's vision. They were a cultivation technique, a Dan Palace Realm avatar, and a drop of purple blood. Thump, thump, thump. When Mo Qingyun approached the drop of purple blood, he immediately felt his eyes begin to twitch rapidly. At this moment, Mo Qingyun suddenly felt that there was a faint connection between him and the drop of purple blood. At the same time, the purple shard that Mo Qingyun had obtained earlier suddenly flew out from his chest and towards the drop of purple blood. Not long after, the purple shard slowly merged with the drop of purple blood. As the purple shard merged with the drop of purple blood, Mo Qingyun immediately felt that the connection between him and the drop of purple blood had strengthened. Just as Mo Qingyun felt this, the drop of purple blood suddenly flew up and entered his left eye. Thump, thump, thump. As soon as the drop of purple blood entered Mo Qingyun's left eye, Mo Qingyun's eye began to twitch rapidly. The connection between him and the drop of purple blood became even more intimate. This drop of purple blood. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun was immediately shocked. A trace of worry rose in his heart. He was worried that there was a powerful existence hidden within the drop of purple blood that wanted to use it to take over his body. However, to Mo Qingyun's surprise, after the drop of purple blood entered his left eye, it calmed down. Not only that, even his left eye calmed down. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun was still worried. He checked his body again. After confirming that there was nothing wrong, he was slightly relieved. Young Lord, refine this array formation's hub first. This way, you can control the entire He Xian Palace. At this moment, the 9 temples reminded Mo Qingyun. As long as you refine the array formation's hub, you can directly control the He Xian Palace and kick the people from the puppet kingdom out. All right. Chapter 241. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had begun to refine the small palace, the 9 temples did not remain idle. They began to set up an 8-fold time shift formation around Mo Qingyun. They knew that Mo Qingyun would need a lot of time to refine the small palace, which was the hub of the formation. Without the help of the time shift formation, the efficiency would be very low. I hope we can find the star pattern formation stone as soon as possible. After setting up the time shift formation, the 9 temples looked grave and said with a worried tone. Otherwise, without the replenishment of the formation power, the 9 temples formation disk will soon lose its effect. After setting up the time shift formation, the 9 temples began to cultivate to recover their soul power. Some time ago, on the way to He Xian Valley, Mo Qingyun had refined some soul recovery elixirs for him. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Under Mo Qingyun's continuous refinement, he had finally refined 30% of the small palace. He could now see everything in He Xian Palace. But if he wanted to do what the 9 temples had said and drive out the people in He Xian Palace, he would need to refine a few more percent. Immediately, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and continued to refine the small palace. He has already refined 30% of He Xian Palace's hub. It's 10 times faster than I expected. When Mo Qingyun had refined 30% of the small palace, He Xian said in surprise. Then he guessed the 9 temples must have helped him set up the time shift formation. This is good. With the help of the time shift formation, his growth will be faster. Just like that, time passed quietly as Mo Qingyun refined the small palace. As time passed, the difficulty of refining the small palace for Mo Qingyun became greater and greater. His progress also slowed down. 2 months later, at this moment, Mo Qingyun's tense expression finally relaxed, and a bright smile appeared on his face. After 2.5 months, he finally refined the small palace completely. Sensing Mo Qingyun's movements, the 9 temples' expression changed. He opened his eyes and asked with joy, "Young Lord, you've completely refined the core of the palace?" "Yes." Mo Qingyun nodded in response. He revealed a cold smile and said, "Now, it's time to take care of those guys from the puppet kingdom." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he prepared to use the formation in the He Xian Hall to deal with Yin Xiuyang and the others. However, to Mo Qingyun's surprise, Yin Xiuyang and the others were nowhere to be seen in He Xian Hall. It seemed that they had already left He Xian Hall. "You're lucky to have escaped quickly." Seeing that Yin Xiuyang and the others had already left He Xian Hall, Mo Qingyun felt slightly disappointed and said angrily. He had originally thought that if Yin Shuiyang and the others were still in Heixian Hall, he would control the Heixian Hall's qi in Heixian Hall and directly destroy them. In particular, Mo Qingyun would not feel at ease if he did not destroy Yin Shuiyang. Young lord, don't worry about it. Seeing Mo Qingyun's expression, the Nine Temples smiled faintly and analyzed. Yin Shuiyang is extremely familiar with Heixian Hall. He knows that Heixian passed the legacy to you, so he guessed that you might use the formation in Heixian Hall to deal with him after refining it. It's normal that he doesn't dare to stay. After hearing this, Mo Qingyun nodded and did not think too much about it. He said in a deep voice, Heixian Hall's formation hub has been refined. Next, it's time to cultivate Heixian's incarnation. With that, Mo Qingyun began to cultivate Heixian's incarnation. He picked up the cultivation method and checked it. After checking it, Mo Qingyun began to cultivate Heixian's incarnation. The first step of cultivating Heixian's incarnation required some special materials to refine an incarnation body. As Mo Qingyun had received an incarnation as a reward in the second stage, he could directly skip this step and save a lot of trouble. The second step of cultivating Heixian's incarnation was to split a part of one's soul and implant it into the incarnation. After seeing this, Mo Qingyun began to split his soul according to the instructions of Heixian's incarnation. After splitting his soul, Mo Qingyun immediately felt a heart-wrenching pain. He could not help but let out a cry of pain. Fortunately, this did not last for long. After a while, Mo Qingyun split a part of his soul and implanted it into the consciousness of the divine transformation stage clone. As a strand of his soul entered the consciousness of the incarnation, the eyes of the incarnation immediately lit up and became more lively. At this moment, there was a close connection between him and the incarnation. It was as if he was the incarnation and the incarnation was him. Phew, it's finally done. After seeing this, Mo Qingyun took a deep breath and a satisfied smile appeared on his face. After saying this, Mo Qingyun did not continue with the rest of the cultivation. Instead, he said in a low voice, "Splitting my soul just now has injured my soul. Before cultivating the incarnation, I should recover my soul first." After that, Mo Qingyun began to cultivate and recover the injury to his soul. He did not want his soul to suffer irreparable damage because of cultivating Heixian's incarnation, which would affect his future cultivation. About 10 days later, Mo Qingyun, who had been cultivating with his eyes closed, revealed a look of joy on his face and slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, the injury to his soul caused by splitting his soul was finally healed. However, at this moment, when Mo Qingyun stopped cultivating, he suddenly frowned and said to himself, "Another soul assimilating mark has broken the connection with me." This meant that another person who was implanted with a soul assimilating mark had died. After realizing this, Mo Qingyun's expression turned grave, and he said in a low voice, "In these few days, there's been a soul assimilating mark breaking the connection with me every day. I think Rouge and the rest must have been captured. Every day, one of them would be tortured and killed." After thinking about this, the uneasiness in Mo Qingyun's heart grew stronger. "Looks like I can't stay here and continue cultivating. I have to return to Four Symbols City immediately." At this moment, Mo Qingyun planned in his heart. Just as Mo Qingyun was pondering, his gaze landed on the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm, and he said in a low voice, "With my strength, I am still unable to control this incarnation. However, I can refine it and use it as a puppet." When this thought appeared, Mo Qingyun's eyes lit up. Without any hesitation, he immediately took action. Soon after, Mo Qingyun injected a soul imprint into the body of the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm and began refining it into a puppet. 5 days later, the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm was successfully refined into a puppet by Mo Qingyun. After refining the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm into a puppet, Mo Qingyun tried to control the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm. However, at the beginning, Mo Qingyun's control wasn't very smooth. He couldn't even make the incarnation stand up. However, Mo Qingyun didn't give up just like that. Instead, he slowly familiarized himself with it and gradually increased the difficulty of controlling it. One day later, under Mo Qingyun's continuous efforts, he was finally able to control the incarnation and was able to barely walk. 5 days later, Mo Qingyun could control the incarnation to run at an extremely fast speed. Moreover, in the process of running, the incarnation swung its fists. Half a month later, under Mo Qingyun's control, the incarnation's movements were no different from that of an ordinary person. When it executed martial techniques, there wasn't the slightest bit of stiffness. Regarding the current situation, Mo Qingyun revealed a satisfied smile. He smiled faintly and said, "Hee hee. Although I can't do as I wish like the incarnation, it's still considered not bad. Young lord, such strong talent. This little fellow's talent is so strong." After seeing Mo Qingyun achieve this step, the Nine Temples and He Xian both let out exclamations of surprise. They were shocked and surprised that Mo Qingyun was able to control the incarnation so proficiently in such a short period of time. This trip to He Xian Valley took a total of half a month. It's time to return. Seeing that the incarnation of the Pill Palace realm had been successfully controlled, Mo Qingyun didn't plan to stay any longer and prepared to return to Four Symbols City immediately. Recently, he had been sensing a soul-sucking imprint every day, which made him feel uneasy. He wanted to return to Four Symbols City immediately to see what exactly was going on in Four Symbol City. Shortly after, Mo Qingyun and the Nine Temples went down the passage and returned to He Xian's main hall. After arriving at the main hall, the Nine Temples revealed a look of anticipation. He said to He Xian, "He Xian, I'm going to leave now. The young lord intends to take His Highness He Xian away. You can come with us." Now that His Highness He Xian has been taken away by this little fellow, I can only follow you. Hearing the Nine Temples' words, He Xian said helplessly. He then said, "Moreover, I also want to see how outstanding this little fellow can be for you to recognize him as your master and what heights he can reach. I definitely won't disappoint you." Seeing that He Xian was willing to come with them, the Nine Temples revealed a faint smile and replied to He Xian, "Little fellow, my remnant consciousness is very weak now, and I can't stay awake for long. Next, I will enter a deep sleep to recover my remnant consciousness," He Xian said to Mo Qingyun. He then changed the topic and said, "But if you encounter a life or death situation, you can send me a message and I can help you once. Many thanks." Hearing He Xian's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of gratitude and thanked He Xian. After hearing Mo Qingyun's words of gratitude, He Xian replied and fell into a deep sleep, no longer speaking. Then, no more aura was emitted from his huge body. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. With the help of the small palace, he left He Xian's palace. Soon, Mo Qingyun arrived outside He Xian's palace. Outside He Xian's palace, Missouri Qingyun controlled the small palace and prepared to take He Xian's palace away. Under Mo Qingyun's control, He Xian's palace immediately began to shrink. In the end, it became only the size of a fingernail and burrowed into Mo Qingyun's body. Eighth Prince, look, look, He Xian's palace is gone. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun took away He Xian's palace, Yin heir of the Puppet Kingdom was shocked as he spoke to Yin Xiaoyang beside him. That damned He Xian really did give He Xian's palace to that kid. Yin Xiaoyang's face became vicious when he saw this. He gritted his teeth and said, "He Xian, since you insist on going against me, I'll definitely kill you once I refine that thing." After saying this coldly, Yin Xiaoyang charged in the direction of the mysterious black hall with a gloomy expression. He said coldly, "Brat, it is not so easy to take what belongs to me, Yin Xiaoyang. This time, I will make sure you die without a complete corpse." Before long, Yin Xiaoyang and the others appeared before Mo Qingyun. They all glared at Mo Qingyun viciously as if they wanted to skin Mo Qingyun alive. Yin Xiaoyang. Chapter 242. Brat, I don't know what you did last time, but you managed to keep your life. Yin Xiaoyang's face was gloomy as he looked at Mo Qingyun. His tone was cold as he said, "However, I won't give you another chance this time. If you know what's good for you, hand over the item you obtained from He Xian obediently. Perhaps I can spare your life." "Are you saying so much nonsense to show that you're useless?" Hearing Yin Xiaoyang's words, Mo Qingyun smiled disdainfully and replied, "If you have the ability, then come at me directly. There's no need to talk so much nonsense." "Brat, you're courting death." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Yin Xiaoyang immediately gnashed his teeth in anger. He uttered a gloomy sentence and attacked Mo Qingyun. At the same time, when Yin Xiaoyang attacked Mo Qingyun, the people from the Puppet Kingdom also attacked Mo Qingyun. Seeing the actions of the people from the Puppet Kingdom, Mo Qingyun mocked, "Trash only knows how to rely on numbers." Soul Sky Seal. After Mo Qingyun spoke, he took out 81 soul battle seals and attacked the puppets of the people from the Puppet Kingdom. Seeing the soul battle imprint attack, the expressions of the Puppet Kingdom's people immediately changed, revealing a trace of panic. They clearly remembered that in the last battle, Mo Qingyun had used this move to make all of them fall for it. As a result, the soul imprints in their puppets were destroyed. Furthermore, their minds were injured because of this. Soul Whirlpool. Seeing Mo Qingyun take out the soul battle seals, Yin Xiaoyang also used a soul secret skill to block Mo Qingyun's attack. Under Yin Xiaoyang's attack, a shocking soul power shot out from his head and turned into a shocking whirlpool. As soon as the soul whirlpool appeared, it devoured the 81 soul battle seals and sucked them in. After neutralizing Mo Qingyun's attack, Yin Xiaoyang revealed a complacent and cold smile. He said coldly, "Brat, this move of yours is useless now. Why don't you just obediently surrender?" "Really?" After hearing Yin Xiaoyang's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a mocking expression. He smiled faintly and said, "Since you are relying on the might of the puppets, then I won't hold back." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, a huge black figure appeared in front of him, exuding a shocking aura. Pill Palace Realm. This black figure was a Pill Palace Realm expert. After sensing the aura of the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation, the expressions of the Puppet Kingdom's people twitched as fear rose in their hearts. "Run!" After a brief moment of panic, the Puppet Kingdom's people didn't dare to hesitate and immediately turned around to flee. It couldn't be helped. This was a Pill Palace Realm expert. He could kill them with a single breath. Trying to escape? Do you think you can escape? Seeing the actions of the Puppet Kingdom's people, Mo Qingyun let out a cold laugh. He controlled the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation to send a palm strike towards them. Then, a huge black palm that covered the sky appeared above them, completely blocking out the light. Following the descent of this gigantic palm, their world slowly turned dark. Finally, it was pitch black. Bang! Under the huge palm, the Puppet Kingdom's people were annihilated. Only Yin Xiaoyang was left. Looking at this scene, Yin Xiaoyang's face darkened. He revealed a strong anger and said coldly, "Brat, I will remember this. Just wait for my revenge." After saying this, Yin Xiaoyang didn't dare to stay any longer. He immediately turned around and fled. He knew that now that Mo Qingyun had a Pill Palace Realm's incarnation by his side, he would only be humiliating himself if he continued to stay. After dealing with the Puppet Kingdom's people, Mo Qingyun looked coldly at Yin Xiaoyang and said coldly, "Now, it's your turn." As soon as he finished speaking, Mo Qingyun controlled the Dan Palace Realm incarnation and attacked Yin Xiaoyang. He attacked him aggressively. Seeing the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation closing in on him, Yin Xiaoyang's face darkened. He gritted his teeth and said, "Brat, you forced me to do this." Hand of Sun Luo. As soon as Yin Shuoyang finished speaking, he quickly formed a series of strange runes with his hands. Once the rune was formed, it emitted a bright light and enveloped Mo Qingyun and the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation. Puchi. At the same time, after Yin Shuoyang formed the rune, he immediately spat out blood. His aura was extremely weak. However, he didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately turned around and continued to flee. Young Lord, run. At this moment, after seeing Yin Shuoyang's attack, the Nine Temples' tone changed. They reminded Mo Qingyun in a panic. Teleportation Gate. Just as the Nine Temples reminded him, Mo Qingyun had already displayed his martial soul's ability and rushed into the teleportation gate. His actions were extremely decisive. There wasn't any hesitation or sloppiness. Swoosh. After a while, Mo Qingyun left the area covered by the strange rune and came to a place not far away. When Mo Qingyun left the area covered by the strange rune, under the ground covered by the rune, black palms immediately appeared. They grabbed the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation and tore it apart. Puchi. Under the tearing of these black palms, the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation was torn into pieces and dragged into the ground. As the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation was torn into pieces, the strange rune gradually faded and finally disappeared. After the strange rune disappeared, the black palms underground also disappeared in the blink of an eye. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun felt a sense of lingering fear and revealed a trace of lingering fear. He really didn't expect Yin Shuoyang to have such a method other than the Pill Palace's Heaven Star. If he was dragged in just now, he would have suffered the same fate as the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation. This person was simply too dangerous. Yin Shuoyang, the next time I see you, I will definitely kill you. Looking in the direction where Yin Shuoyang escaped, Mo Qingyun's face was cold as he said those words. After saying those words, Mo Qingyun revealed a trace of heartache. Looking at the Pill Palace Realm's incarnation that was torn into pieces, he said, "What a pity. A Pill Palace Realm's incarnation was destroyed just like that." After sighing, Mo Qingyun didn't think too much about it. He walked towards Yin Air and the others from the Puppet Kingdom and took away their Chinquin bags and puppets. In this exchange, he lost a Pill Palace Realm's incarnation. He had to collect some interest. After doing all of this, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer, and he stood up and returned to Four Symbol City. 5 days later, under Mo Qingyun's crazy rush, he arrived at a city called Star Lane City and prepared to enter to rest. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun arrived at Star Lane City, he discovered that many people were rushing towards the city. Looking at their hurried expressions, it was as if they were waiting for some treasure to be unearthed. Seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun's expression changed and a trace of doubt rose in his heart. He thought to himself, could it be that some treasure has appeared in Star Lane City? After discovering this, Mo Qingyun walked toward the person with a curious expression and asked, "Friend, why are there so many people coming to Star Lane City?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, that person revealed a look as if he was looking at a country bumpkin. He looked at Mo Qingyun and said, "You don't even know this? Your information is too outdated." Hearing this person's words, Mo Qingyun was slightly embarrassed and continued to ask, "Friend, please enlighten me." Seeing that Mo Qingyun continued to ask, the person didn't keep him in suspense and said with an excited expression, "Let me tell you. In a day's time, there will be a huge auction in Star Lane City. It is said that there will be hundreds of treasures in this auction." Auction? Hearing this person's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of surprise. He was a little surprised by this answer. Of course, these people are here to join in the fun and to see the treasures. They don't have the ability to compete for those treasures. While Mo Qingyun was still in shock, the person continued to say, "Also, I heard that the final item of this auction is a strange stone with runes. It is said that this stone contains a terrifying power. If it is used to refine weapons, it might be able to create a divine weapon." Stone with runes? Hearing this young man's words, Mo Qingyun's eyes immediately lit up as he thought of something. Immediately, Mo Qingyun asked the Nine Temples, do you think this stone could be the star array stone? I'm not sure yet. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Nine Temples' tone was a little excited. He said, however, there's a 70% chance that this stone is the star array stone. Therefore, young lord, you must attend this auction. Yes. After hearing the Nine Temples' words, Mo Qingyun nodded and made a decision. At this time, while Mo Qingyun and the Nine Temples were talking, the young man smiled and said to Mo Qingyun, boy, you are very lucky to have stumbled upon such a big event. Ha! Hearing the young man's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and threw a cosmos sack to the young man. He smiled and said, thank you for clearing my doubts. Here is a small token of my gratitude. After throwing the cosmos sack to the young man, Mo Qingyun turned and left, walking towards Starlane City. Hey, boy, what kind of person do you think I am? I didn't clear your doubts because of your gratitude. Seeing Mo Qingyun throw the cosmos sack to him, the young man's expression changed, and he shouted at Mo Qingyun with a serious face. However, when Ma Yang saw that Mo Qingyun did not respond, he opened his cosmos sack out of curiosity and muttered, what kind of good things can a silly brat give me? But when Ma Yang saw the contents of the cosmos sack, his expression became sluggish, and he could not believe his eyes. The cosmos sack was filled with hundreds of thousands of elemental holy stones. This was comparable to his entire fortune. I casually said a few words, and he gave me hundreds of thousands of elemental holy stones. How could there be such a good thing? At this moment, Ma Yang's heartbeat immediately sped up. He looked at Mo Qingyun's back and said, big brother, I was just casually saying it. I accept your gratitude. After replying to Mo Qingyun, Ma Yang's expression suddenly changed. He said, that's right. That boy didn't take the wrong cosmos sack, right? Did he give his own fortune to me? He left the cosmos sack that he wanted to thank me with. As soon as this thought appeared, Ma Yang's expression changed. He thought to himself, that must be it. I'll take advantage of the fact that this boy still knows and run away. I've earned hundreds of thousands of elemental holy stones for free. How satisfying. Then, Ma Yang immediately fled the scene, afraid that Mo Qingyun would come back and look for him. But if he knew that Mo Qingyun already had more than 1 billion elemental holy stones on him, who knew what he would think? Chapter 243. After entering Starlane City, Mo Qingyun found a hotel and checked into a superior room. Mo Qingyun began to cultivate in the room as he waited for the auction to begin the next day. However, while he was cultivating, he released a wisp of soul power to sense the conversations of the people in the hotel. Have you heard? It's said that many people from the 10 great kingdoms will be coming to the auction this time. I heard that long ago. They're passing by on their way to Four Symbol City and are just here to join in the fun. Four Symbol City? The city where the purple-eyed devil monarch appeared. Could it be that the 10 great kingdoms want to deal with the purple eye? Your information is too outdated. The 10 great kingdoms have already issued 100 kingdoms arrest order to hunt down the purple eye and the others on the battlefield. According to what I know, the people from the 10 great kingdoms are heading to Four Symbol City this time to deal with the purple eye's 4 friends. Your information is all wrong. The purple eye's subordinates have already been captured. In order to force the purple eye to appear, the people from the 10 great kingdoms kill one of his subordinates every day. I see. The 10 great kingdoms are so ruthless. If the purple eye doesn't appear, it would be heartless and unjust. At this moment, everyone's conversation was transmitted into Mo Qingyun's ears word for word. I see. Hearing everyone's conversation, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately changed, revealing a look of understanding. At this moment, he finally understood why he had lost contact with a soul-snatching seal every day recently. After this discovery, Mo Qingyun frowned tightly as he pondered in his heart. Since the people from the 10 great kingdoms want to deal with Brother Liu and the others, they should be safe for the time being since they are still in Star Lane City. After thinking in this way, Mo Qingyun's expression relaxed slightly. However, a trace of doubt soon appeared on his face again. I set up a formation to guard Ling Luo and the others' cultivation room. Logically speaking, this should be very safe. Mo Qingyun was puzzled and guessed in his heart, could it be that there is someone in the 10 great kingdoms who is skilled in formations? That should be it. A day passed in the blink of an eye. Seeing that it was time for the auction, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and walked out of the room to the auction house. The auction house wasn't far from Mo Qingyun's hotel, so it didn't take him long to arrive at the auction house. Seeing Mo Qingyun enter the auction house, a receptionist walked up to him and asked, "Sir, is this an auction item or an auction item?" "Auction items." Mo Qingyun's expression was calm as he replied, "Would you like a normal seat or a VIP room, sir?" The receptionist asked again. After hearing this, Mo Qingyun was puzzled and asked, "What's the difference?" For an ordinary seat, you need to pay 10,000 spirit essence stones. For a VIP room, you need to pay 1,000,000 spirit essence stones. The young receptionist explained. After hearing the receptionist's explanation, Mo Qingyun didn't even think about it and directly tossed her a chinquin bag, saying, "Arrange a VIP room for me." Then, Mo Qingyun was led by the receptionist to the VIP room number 8. The VIP room number 8 was in a good position. It was located on the 3rd floor of the auction house. From here, one could clearly see the entire auction house. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile, saying, "It's good to be rich. This 1,000,000 spirit essence stones is well spent." Young lord, 1,000,000 spirit essence stones is a considerable amount of wealth for an ordinary true energy boundary martial artist. They wouldn't be willing to spend this much money. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the 9 temples smiled and replied to Mo Qingyun. After hearing the 9 temples' words, Mo Qingyun nodded and smiled, agreeing with the 9 temples' point of view. When he was in Northern Desert Town, as one of the 3 great families of Northern Desert Town, the Mo family didn't even have 10,000 spirit essence stones. From this, it could be seen that 1,000,000 spirit essence stones was not a small number. At this time, as Mo Qingyun and the 9 temples were talking, the auction had already begun. Before long, the auctioneer brought out one item after another for everyone to bid on. This auction item is a treasure armor. It is said that not even a treasure weapon can pierce through it. The starting price is 1,000,000 spirit essence stones. At this time, the auctioneer brought out a soft armor and announced to everyone. After the auctioneer spoke, someone immediately bid. "I bid 1,010,000. You have a nerve to add 10,000? I bid 1,100,000. I bid 1,300,000. For a time, the voices of people shouting out bids rose and fell. In the end, the treasure armor was sold for 3,200,000 spirit essence stones. The sale of the treasure armor immediately pushed the atmosphere of the auction house to an even higher level. Following this, the auctioneer brought out several more items for everyone to bid on. These items were all sold for several million spirit essence stones. After these items were sold, the atmosphere of the auction house reached a peak. After the first item was sold, the auctioneer brought out 3 more items. These 3 items were each several meters long and as thick as a finger. They were pitch black and looked like 3 long whips. The items being auctioned this time are 3 items that are similar to the tendons of a flood dragon. The auctioneer brought the 3 black whips onto the auction stage and introduced them. As for their origins, our auction house is not clear. But one thing is certain, and that is that these 3 items are absolutely extraordinary. We once used a treasure weapon to cut them down, but the result was that they were completely unharmed. At this moment, the auctioneer tirelessly introduced the items as if these 3 black whips were priceless treasures. Don't talk nonsense, just state the price. Hearing the auctioneer's incessant explanation, the crowd began to grow impatient and urged the auctioneer to continue. "Haha, since that's the case, I won't say any more. Seeing everyone grow impatient, the auctioneer tactfully stopped speaking. He chuckled and said, because these three items are being auctioned together, the base price might be a bit high. The base price is 10 million spirit essence stones, and each bid must be no less than 100,000 spirit essence stones. Damn, you don't even know what these things are, and you're already starting at 10 million spirit essence stones. Why don't you just go rob someone? That's right, you guys are too greedy. I don't want to waste money like this. If it was 1,000,000 spirit essence stones, I might have played around a bit. But 10 million is too expensive. After the auctioneer's words fell, there was a wave of discontent. However, the auctioneer didn't seem to care at all, as if this sort of situation was common to him. Pung pung pung. At this time, as the auctioneer introduced the three black whips, Qingyun's eyes began to rapidly jump. This is, sensing the movement in his eyes, Qingyun immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. He said with ecstasy, "These are those mysterious eyelashes. I never thought I'd run into them again." Qingyun was clearer than anyone on the function of these mysterious eyelashes. These were treasures that could strengthen the bloodline in his eyes. I have to get these three eyelashes. At this moment, Qingyun gripped his fists. He secretly made a decision in his heart and immediately said, 11 million spirit essence stones. As soon as the auctioneer heard Qingyun's words, his eyes brightened with pleasant surprise. He said, "The Mr. in VIP room 8 has bid 11 million spirit essence stones. Are there any higher bids?" To increase the price by 1 million spirit essence stones, this was a great customer. It seemed that these three black whips could be auctioned off for a good price. I bid 11. 2 million. As the auctioneer's voice fell, someone immediately shouted out a bid. I bid 12 million. I bid 12. 5 million. For a moment, all sorts of bids were shouted out. Haha, it's only 10 million spirit essence stones. Buying 3 collectibles isn't bad. At this time, as everyone was shouting out bids, a person for VIP room 3 lightly smiled and said, I bid 15 million spirit essence stones. After this person bid, he said to everyone in the auction house, "Everyone, I am Fancian of the Blade Kingdom. I plan on buying a few collectibles. I hope everyone can give me some face." As this person's words fell, the auction house immediately went into an uproar. Everyone whispered to each other, "Fancian, he's actually Fancian of the Blade Kingdom. I didn't think he would come to the 100 Kingdom battlefield. I heard that Fancian is one of the 3 geniuses of the Blade Kingdom. He's someone who can directly participate in the Grand Examination. The Blade Kingdom is ranked 3rd in the 10 Kingdoms. Fancian's talent is ranked 3rd in the Blade Kingdom. Such a person's future is limitless. We can't afford to offend this Fancian. Let's not compete with him in case we provoke a terrifying enemy. Forget it. It's not worth offending someone like Fancian for some unknown item." After learning of Fancian's identity, everyone in the auction house immediately gave up on competing and prepared to give this item to Fancian. Seeing this, the auctioneer's expression became a bit unnatural, revealing a trace of anxiety. He had originally hoped that this item would stir up the atmosphere, but he didn't think that Fancian's appearance would cause the auction to become awkward. However, although he was anxious, he didn't dare to show any dissatisfaction. There was nothing he could do. Fancian's identity wasn't someone he could offend. No matter how unhappy he was, he could only endure it. After a brief moment of anxiety, the auctioneer said, "The Mr. from VIP room 3 bids 15 million spirit essence stones. Is there a higher bid? If there isn't a higher bid, then these 3 treasures will belong to him." As the auctioneer's words fell, he revealed a look of anticipation, hoping that someone would save the day. "I bid 20 million spirit essence stones." At this moment, as the auctioneer was anxiously waiting, an indifferent voice came from VIP room 8. As soon as he heard the person from VIP room 8 raise the price, the auctioneer immediately revealed an expression of understanding. His meaning couldn't be more obvious. The person from VIP room 8 was definitely his own big brother, otherwise he would take care of him like this. As soon as Mo Qingyun opened his mouth, the surrounding people's expressions immediately changed. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions. They didn't think that after Fan Xian announced his identity, there would still be someone who dared to bid. This was a challenge to Fan Xian. Who is that person from VIP Room 8? He clearly knows Fan Xian's identity, and yet he still dares to raise the price. Is he trying to challenge Fan Xian? He should be someone from the 10 Great Kingdoms. Otherwise, in the 100 countries battlefield, who would dare to make things difficult for Fan Xian? No matter what, if he could spend 1,000,000 spirit essence stones to win a VIP room, then he isn't someone we can compare with. That's true, but I still think that it's unwise for him to offend Fan Xian because of this. For a time, everyone held their own opinions and began to debate with each other. What guts? You actually dare to compete with me? Fan Xian. As soon as he saw Mo Qingyun raise the price, Fan Xian's expression immediately darkened. He looked towards Mo Qingyun's room and coldly said, "Sir, are you trying to make things difficult for me? Have you ever considered the consequences of your actions? Are you threatening me?" Mo Qingyun disdainfully responded to Fan Xian's words. Then he disdainfully said, "If you don't have the money, then scram to the side. Don't make a fool of yourself here." As soon as Mo Qingyun's words came out, the auction house exploded. Everyone revealed looks of shock. Chapter 244. F***CK. He's too domineering. Even someone from the 10 Great Kingdoms wouldn't dare to speak to Fan Xian like that. Who is this guy? He actually dares to taunt Fan Xian like that. Isn't he afraid of death? Looks like there's a good show to watch. I hope this guy can still be so awesome when he meets Fan Xian later. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, an uproar broke out in the auction hall, and everyone came out with excited expressions. Provoking a genius from the 10 Great Kingdoms was not something that could be easily seen. Brother Fan Xian, looks like you don't have enough face. At this moment, a person from VIP Room 2 spoke in a feminine tone. Brother Fan Xian, if you don't have enough money, I can lend you some. The person in VIP Room 9 said to Fan Xian with a faint smile. Following that, the people from the other VIP rooms also started teasing Fan Xian. As geniuses from the 10 Great Kingdoms, they were very happy to see the other party being provoked and ignored. Hearing their words, Fan Xian's expression immediately darkened to the extreme. He was very clear that if he didn't fiercely teach this guy from VIP Room 8 a lesson, he would be utterly humiliated this time. Soon after, Fan Xian's expression darkened as he looked at VIP Room 8 and said coldly, "Kid, if you don't want to die, immediately come before me. Cripple your own cultivation, kowtow, admit your mistake, and bark 3 times like a dog." Mo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain when he heard Fan Xian's words. He replied, "If you don't have money, immediately scram. Don't obstruct me from bidding. Kid, you're courting death." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian's face immediately twitched with anger. He said fiercely, "Kid, if you have the guts, don't leave after the auction ends. I'll slowly take care of you. I'll wait for you. If you don't come, then I'm a coward." Mo Qingyun didn't care about Fan Xian's threat at all and replied, not to be outdone, "If you don't come, then I'm a coward." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of everyone in the auction hall changed again. They were somewhat shocked by Mo Qingyun's words. Mo Qingyun had been provoking Fan Xian earlier. Now, he was initiating a battle, challenging Fan Xian. This was too awesome. At the thought of this, everyone's hearts immediately became excited. This time, there was really a good show to watch. As soon as Fan Xian heard Mo Qingyun's words, he no longer spoke. He coldly snorted and said, 21,000,000 spirit essence stones. Fan Xian was very clear that he was no match for Mo Qingyun in terms of verbal sparring. If he continued, he would only be asking for humiliation. The bid for VIP room number 3 is 21 million. Is there a higher bid? Seeing Mo Qingyun and Fan Xian fight, the auctioneer's face immediately lit up. This was the kind of situation they liked the most. You only added 1,000,000 spirit essence stones. How poor. After hearing Fan Xian's bid, Qingyun taunted, "If you're a man, then give me 10,000,000. I'll give you 30,000,000 spirit essence stones. 10,000,000 if you're a man." As soon as Qingyun's words came out, Fan Xian's complexion immediately turned ugly. He began to hesitate. Originally, he had only planned to spend 10,000,000 spirit essence stones to buy a few collectibles. But now, it seemed that he wouldn't be able to buy anything for tens of millions. More importantly, his goal was the final item. He didn't want to spend too much here. After thinking about this, Fan Xian didn't plan on continuing to compete. He coldly said, "Boy, spending 30,000,000 to buy 3 items of unknown origin, what a waste." After hearing Fan Xian's words, the surrounding people immediately nodded, expressing their agreement with Fan Xian's words. This was 30,000,000 spirit essence stones, not 30,000 spirit essence stones. If they bought something useless, then wouldn't that be a great loss? It was just that as everyone nodded in agreement towards Fan Xian's words, Qingyun had a disdainful look on his face. He responded, "I have a lot of money, but what does that have to do with you? If you want to, then throw in a bid of 40,000,000 spirit essence stones." Boy, don't be so proud. As soon as Fan Xian heard Qingyun's words, he was so angry that he vomited blood. If he didn't bid, then he wouldn't be a man. At this time, he absolutely could not shrink back. 40,000,000, Fan Xian said through clenched teeth. 50,000,000. As soon as Fan Xian's words fell, Qingyun didn't hesitate to bid once more, adding another 10,000,000 spirit essence stones. After seeing Qingyun's actions, Fan Xian's complexion immediately became cloudy and uncertain. He began to consider whether or not he should increase the price. If he increased the price, then it would be 60,000,000 spirit essence stones. This was not a small number. If he didn't increase the price, then he would lose face and lose morale in front of Qingyun. After pondering for a moment, Fan Xian decided to give up. Now is not the time to fight over personal feelings. He couldn't lose sight of the bigger picture. My goal is the final item. I can't ruin everything because of this. Fan Xian comforted himself. His complexion improved a bit. He coldly said, "Humph. You want to wait for me to increase the price so that you can shrink back. I won't fall for your tricks. If you don't dare, then you don't dare. To make excuses for yourself is the action of a piece of trash." Hearing Fan Xian's words, Qingyun didn't back down at all. His words were filled with an incomparably thick sarcasm. As soon as Fan Xian heard Qingyun's words, he shot up from his chair. He glared at Qingyun's room and said, "Boy, if you have the guts, then compete with me for the final item." "Oh, are you trying to scare me?" Qingyun disdainfully smiled. He responded, "I hope that when the time comes you can fight like a man." Don't be like this, going soft after 3 moves. If 10,000,000 is 1 centimeter, then that thing of yours is only 3 centimeters. It's too short. 3 centimeters. Too short. As soon as everyone heard Qingyun's words, their expressions immediately became strange. They suppressed the urge to laugh in their hearts. The person in room number 8 is so annoying. He said such shameful words. However, I like it a lot. I think that if he can say such words, he should be very mighty. If he's very handsome, just based on his words, I'll let him gallop free of charge. Some of the women in the auction house were blushing and had different expressions as they spoke shyly. Haha, this brother's true temperament suits my taste. I'm Hulai from the Beast Kingdom. I wonder if I can be friends with you? At this moment, the person in room number 9 spoke to Qingyun in a friendly manner. "Friend, I'm Fan Fong from the Giant Kingdom. I also want to be friends with you." One of the people in VIP room, number 10, said in a loud voice that was deafening to the ears. As soon as they heard the words of the people in room number 9 and 10, the expressions of the people in the auction house changed once again. Their faces were filled with shock and envy. This kid is actually able to gain the favor of the people from the 10 kingdoms. His luck is pretty good. That's true. With the help of the people from the Beast King Valley and the Giant Kingdom, I think he should be able to keep his life. This kid's actions just now were probably to attract the attention of the 10 kingdoms. This move is quite brilliant. In an instant, the other people in the auction house began to speak their thoughts one after another. However, did Mo Qingyun really think so? Want to be friends with me? Hearing the words of the two, Mo Qingyun revealed a playful smile. However, he didn't immediately respond to them. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, if the other party knew his identity, he didn't know if they would still say that. Hulai, Fan Fong, the two of you are friends with him. Aren't you afraid of offending Fan Xian? After a short moment, seeing that Mo Qingyun didn't respond to the two of them, a person in room number 2 emitted a gloomy voice and said, "Also, he seems to be unwilling to be friends with the two of you." As soon as he heard the words of the person in room number 2 to sow discord, Mo Qingyun revealed a trace of coldness and indifference, and he replied, "Don't worry. No matter who I want to be friends with, I won't be friend with a weird fellow like you. Your voice is neither male nor female. I wonder if your lower body hasn't developed well." Lower body hasn't developed well? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of everyone changed once more. They forcefully held back their laughter, and it was truly difficult to hold it in. However, they had no choice but to hold it in. The person in room number 2 was even more terrifying than Fan Xian in room number 3. They were the Corpse Kingdom that was ranked second in the 10 kingdoms. These fellows from the Corpse Kingdom were always in the company of corpses. All of them were gloomy and incomparably ruthless. They absolutely couldn't be easily offended. After responding to the person in room number 2, Mo Qingyun said to the auctioneer, "Don't just stand there. If no one else is bidding, hurry up and announce the results." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the auctioneer didn't dare to hesitate. He immediately asked around. Seeing no one continue to increase the price, the auctioneer announced the results of the auction. These 3 mysterious eyelashes were won by Mo Qingyun. Finally, Mo Qingyun won the 3 mysterious eyelashes for a price of 50 million spirit essence stones. Seeing this result, Mo Qingyun's lips curved up in a smile. 50 million spirit essence stones to win these 3 eyelashes was just too profitable for him. After Mo Qingyun won the 3 mysterious eyelashes, the auctioneer took out another item to auction. It was a long sword, a low-grade, prized artifact-level sword. Mo Qingyun wasn't interested in this, so he didn't participate in the bidding. Mo Qingyun wasn't interested in any of the following items, so he didn't bid on any of them. On the other hand, the people from the 10 kingdoms actually bid on some items during this time. Seeing Mo Qingyun not bid on any items during this time, Fan Xian disdainfully said, "I thought you were awesome, but it turns out you were just talking big. You've only bid on one item, and you're already withering away. Useless." Hearing Fan Xian's words, Mo Qingyun was stunned for a moment. Then, he disdainfully responded, "It's just some scrap metal. I don't even care about it. Yet you treat it as a treasure. You want to compete with me for the finale item?" At this time, as Mo Qingyun and Fan Xian were ridiculing each other, Chapter 245. As soon as they saw the finale item being taken out, everyone's expression became tense and no longer spoke. Mo Qingyun and Fan Xian didn't say anything else and prepared to compete for the final item. The auctioneer didn't waste any more words after seeing everyone's expression and said, "There are a total of 100 power runic stones here. The starting price is 50 million, and each bid must be at least 1 million. The auction house went into an uproar when the auctioneer announced the starting price. Everyone exclaimed in shock, 50 million? That's too expensive. I don't even have the right to bid. This isn't something you and I can compete for. We'd better sit aside and watch the show. I wonder who will get these power runic stones next. I'm guessing that the people from the 10 great kingdoms have a higher chance." The people in the ordinary seats gave up at this moment and watched the show obediently. "I'll start by throwing a brick to attract Jade. I bid 50 million. At that moment, right after the auctioneer finished speaking, the person in VIP room number 19 let out a silvery bell-like voice. It was a very pleasant voice. The person in VIP room 19 was actually a woman. 60 million. As soon as the person in VIP room 19 spoke, Fan Xian, who was in VIP room 3, announced his price in an overbearing manner. After Fan Xian announced the price, he looked at Mo Qingyun's VIP room 8 and said provocatively, "Kid, weren't you very arrogant just now? Why aren't you bidding now?" The corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up when he heard Fan Xian's words. He revealed a faint smile and said, "I originally planned on letting you jump around a little. Since you're so anxious, I'll play with you." As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he didn't say anything else and opened his mouth to bid. "I bid 600 million. Whoosh. The auction house went into an uproar when Mo Qingyun said that. Everyone was shocked, and their eyes widened. They couldn't believe what they had just heard. The price had increased tenfold in an instant. This was too much. The guy in VIP room 8 is too fierce. He increased the price tenfold in an instant. F*CK. Is this guy planning to kill the people from the 10 great kingdoms? Aren't you going to give the people of the 10 great kingdoms a chance to bid? Does this guy's elemental spirit stones come from a flood? That's way too rich. This guy is really... He didn't even give us a chance to speak." Everyone in the auction hall had bitter expressions on their faces. They were shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions. At this moment, while everyone was still in shock, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile and taunted Fan Xian. "My bid is 10 times yours. If you have the ability, you can also bid 10 times mine." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the expressions of the people in the auction house immediately became strange. This guy is so cunning. At this moment, everyone gave Mo Qingyun an evaluation in their hearts. Fan Xian had bid 60 million. Even if he increased it tenfold, it would only be 600 million. If Fan Xian increased it tenfold, it would be 6 billion. 6 billion and 600 million were different in nature. It was estimated that not many people in the entire 100 countries battlefield could take out that much money. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He knew that he had been tricked by Mo Qingyun again and was momentarily speechless. Hearing Fan Xian's silence, Mo Qingyun responded with disdain, "I thought you were awesome, but it turns out that you're only SOSO. Since that's the case, you could just bid 5 times the price." 5 times? That was still 3 billion elemental spirit stones, right? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian's face became bitter again. He didn't know what to say. After realizing this, Mo Qingyun's mocking expression became even more intense. He mocked, "You can't even bid 5 times? Then how about 4 times? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian was once again at a loss for words. He didn't know how to respond. There was no way around it. He didn't have that many elemental spirit stones. What happened next was this. 3 times? 2 times? 1.5 times? Don't tell me you can't even bid 600 million? Mo Qingyun constantly lowered the price, but Fan Xian still couldn't open his mouth. His face became incomparably red. There was no way around it. When Fan Xian went out this time, he had brought over 600 million elemental spirit stones with him. In the previous auction, he had used up some of them. Now, he had less than 600 million left. As soon as Mo Qingyun opened his mouth, he had reached his limit. This result made him feel as if he wanted to vomit blood. It could be said that Mo Qingyun's bid just now was far too ruthless. It had directly cut off his hopes. Seeing Fan Xian remain silent for a long time, Mo Qingyun's mocking expression became even more intense. He said to Fan Xian, "So after all this time, you can't even make a fart. You want to participate in the auction like this?" After mocking Fan Xian, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of disdain. He continued to mock, "So your 3 centimeters were fake. You even included the bruised skin. Now that you've removed the bruised skin, you don't even have 3 centimeters left. You only bid once, so you only have 1 centimeter left. 1 centimeter is so long." As Mo Qingyun said this, he deliberately dragged out his words. His mocking tone was self-evident. 1 centimeter was so long. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, everyone in the auction house immediately revealed mocking smiles. However, they didn't dare to be too obvious. They were afraid that Fan Xian would vent his anger on them. Mo Qingyun wasn't afraid of Fan Xian, but they were. Fan Xian wasn't someone they could provoke, especially a crazy Fan Xian. Humph! Hearing Mo Qingyun's mocking words, Fan Xian snorted coldly. He didn't continue to talk nonsense with Mo Qingyun. Kid, I'll play with you. Seeing that Fan Xian didn't speak, the person in room number 2 made a bid in a strange tone. I bid 610 million. You'll play with me? Hearing the person in room number 2's words, Mo Qingyun mocked him. Immediately, he started to make a bid. I bid 1 billion. You. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the person in room number 2 immediately became flustered and speechless. He was like a duck that had been grabbed by the neck. The price that Mo Qingyun had quoted had already exceeded his limit. Seeing that the other party didn't speak, Mo Qingyun felt slightly disappointed. He said disappointedly, "That's it? No wonder your voice doesn't sound right. You really are underdeveloped. Kid, you've gone too far." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the person in room number 2 immediately became flustered. His tone was cold as he said, "Just you wait after the auction ends." Just as the person finished speaking, he directly left the VIP room, leaving behind a series of hurried footsteps. Mo Qingyun didn't take the other party's words to heart. He continued to announce his bid and continued to compete with others. As the price rose higher and higher, the number of people participating in the auction also decreased. In the end, the only person left to compete with Mo Qingyun was the person in room number 1. 1,450,000,000 elemental spirit stones. The person in room number 1 coldly announced the price. After that, he coldly said to Mo Qingyun, "Kid, if you withdraw now, I, Soul Puppet, will owe you a favor. I can step forward later to resolve the conflict between you, Fan Xian, and Corpse Bin." From this, it seemed that 1,450,000,000 was the limit of this Soul Puppet. Soul Puppet. The person in VIP room number 1 is actually the First Kingdom's Soul Puppet. This person actually came to the 100 Countries battlefield. Soul Puppet is one of the top 3 geniuses of the Soul Kingdom. His talent is even above Fan Xian's. This kid's luck is really good to be able to obtain a favor from Soul Puppet. I just don't know how this kid will answer. I'm sure he'll agree to Soul Puppet. Is there even need to ask? He's already offended so many people. If he offends Soul Puppet, he'll really be dead soon. That's right. There's a limit to posturing. This kid has been posturing for a long time. It's time to find a way to end this. At this moment, everyone expressed their thoughts one after another, believing that Mo Qingyun would definitely agree to Soul Puppet. However, at this moment, when everyone thought that Mo Qingyun would compromise, Mo Qingyun spoke. "Is your favor worth a lot? If you don't have money, then scram like that Corpse Bin." Mo Qingyun's face was full of disdain. After replying to Soul Puppet, he once again bid 1,500,000,000 elemental spirit stones. This kid rejected Soul Puppet. As soon as Mo Qingyun's words came out, the expressions of the surrounding people immediately changed. They were extremely surprised by this result. They did not expect that Mo Qingyun would not even give face to Soul Puppet. This kid is finished. He even offended Soul Puppet. Although he has some financial resources, he's too arrogant. This kind of person is destined to not live long. Her. So what if he's rich? He'll still die at the hands of Soul Puppet and the others later. At this moment, some of the surrounding people who hated the rich all let out gloating words. Mo Qingyun had a panoramic view of everyone's performance, but he did not care. These were all people who could not eat grapes and said that the grapes were sour. "Big Brother Soul Puppet, I have 600,000,000 elemental spirit stones here. I'll lend it to you." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian, who had not spoken before, said to Soul Puppet, "With his 600,000,000 elemental spirit stones, you can definitely beat that kid. Little brother Fan Xian, I appreciate your kindness, but I don't need it. After hearing Fan Xian's words, Hunting responded with a faint smile. He looked at Mo Qingyun's room and said coldly, "Boy, you made a very unwise choice just now. You may have won this auction, but you will lose your life because of it." After uttering these cold words, Soul Puppet continued, "Do you think that you can obtain those power rune stones just because you won this auction? You're wrong. You're just paying for the elemental spirit stones for me. After I kill you, these power rune stones will still be mine." At this moment, Soul Puppet's killing intent was stirred. After hearing Soul Puppet's words, the faces of everyone in the auction house became tense. Chapter 246. Mo Qingyun did not take Soul Puppet's words to heart at all. He smiled disdainfully when he heard Soul Puppet's words. Afterwards, Mo Qingyun looked towards Soul Puppet's room and said disdainfully, "You think too highly of yourself. You're not qualified to take something from me." After replying to Soul Puppet, Mo Qingyun put on an impatient face and urged the auctioneer, "Announce the result of the auction." The auctioneer did not dare to hesitate when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He immediately asked the people around him. Seeing that no one continued to raise the price, he immediately announced the results. He announced that the 100 power runic stones were obtained by Mo Qingyun. After the auctioneer announced the results, Mo Qingyun paid 1.5 billion and received the 100 power runic stones. Power runic stones? Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he saw the 100 stones with runes in his hand. He handed the stones to the 9 temples and said, "9 temples, how much of the power of the 9 temples formation disc can you recover with these star runic formation stones?" "More than 70%. The 9 temples were pleasantly surprised when they heard Mo Qingyun's words. They replied to Mo Qingyun, "Don't worry, young lord. Although it hasn't recovered to 100%, it's no problem to use formations like the burning formation of heavens 3 times. "That's great." Mo Qingyun was satisfied when he heard the 9 temples' response. He walked out of the auction house with a smile on his face. He had gained quite a lot from this trip to the auction house. Not only had he obtained the star runic formation stones, but he had also unexpectedly obtained 3 mysterious eyelashes. A while later, Mo Qingyun arrived outside the auction house. However, when Mo Qingyun walked out of the auction house, several groups of people appeared outside and blocked his path. These people were Soul Puppet and the others from the auction house. When the members of Soul Puppet saw Mo Qingyun's appearance, they were immediately shocked. This person in front of them was actually the Purple Eye. The person in VIP room number 8 just now turned out to be the Purple Eye, the infamous ruthless man from a few days ago. He was also the person they had to work together to deal with in the 4-symbol city. "The Purple Eye, it's you." After recognizing Mo Qingyun, Fan Xian's face turned gloomy. With a ferocious expression, he shouted at Mo Qingyun, "You are quite bold. We were worried that we would not be able to find you, and you actually delivered yourself to us." As soon as Fan Xian finished speaking, the surrounding people were shocked and looked at Mo Qingyun in disbelief. The Purple Eye, the ruthless person that the 10 great kingdoms had teamed up to deal with, had actually appeared here. At this moment, they finally understood why the person in VIP room 8 didn't throw the people from the 10 great kingdoms away. With the enmity between Mo Qingyun and the 10 great kingdoms, it would be extremely strange if he cared about the people from the 10 great kingdoms. So, the person in VIP room number 8 just now was the Purple Eye. No wonder he wasn't afraid of the people from the 10 great kingdoms. So that's how it is. In that case, everything makes sense. However, the Purple Eye is too damn rich. What do you know? The Purple Eye obtained the 9 temples treasure trove and the ancient treasure trove. How can he not be rich? Not to mention the 2 great treasures. Just the fact that he killed a few thousand cultivators outside the 9 temples treasure trove and obtained their chinquin bags is a huge fortune. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but sigh. Their eyes were filled with admiration as they looked at Mo Qingyun. In one's life, To be able to act as freely as Mo Qingyun, to wield a sword and travel to the ends of the world without being restrained, was the true pursuit of a cultivator. After coldly sizing up Mo Qingyun, Soul Puppet's expression darkened. He looked at Mo Qingyun and said coldly, "The purple eye, I see that you are a talent. Now, as long as you give me the power runestone, the two great treasures, and the method of cultivating the eye demon and submit to me, I can spare your life." "Who do you think you are? What right do you have to spare my life?" After hearing Soul Puppet's words, Mo Qingyun looked at him disdainfully and replied playfully, "How about this? I'll tell you now. As long as you offer up your mother for everyone to admire, I'll let you go today. How about that?" Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the surrounding people's expressions immediately changed, becoming complicated and interesting. At the same time, some people looked at Mo Qingyun with admiration and secretly gave Mo Qingyun a thumbs up. He was too awesome. In an entire 100 countries battlefield, only Mo Qingyun dared to speak to someone from the First Kingdom like that. "You're courting death." Seeing everyone looking at him strangely, Soul Puppet's expression darkened, and he was about to attack Mo Qingyun. "Brother Soul Puppet, you don't have to do anything. Let me deal with this boy." Just as Soul Puppet was about to attack, Fan Xian stepped forward and interrupted Soul Puppet's actions. He looked at Mo Qingyun disdainfully and said, "The purple eye, everyone says that you're good with the saber. Today, I, Fan Xian, will let you know what a real saber technique is. You're not qualified." After hearing Fan Xian's words, Mo Qingyun glanced at him disdainfully. Then, he looked impatiently at Soul Puppet and the others and said, "Do you want to come to me one by one or all at once? Just do it. No need to talk nonsense. I alone am enough to deal with you." After hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Fan Xian's expression darkened, and he directly slashed at Mo Qingyun with his saber. When the others saw this, they all retreated to the side and allowed Fan Xian and Mo Qingyun to fight. They were not in a hurry to attack together. Like Fan Xian, they thought that Mo Qingyun was unworthy of his reputation and was not worthy of them attacking together. Remorseless frenzied saber, Fan Xian slashed out with his saber. A terrifying wave of yuan power immediately erupted from the long saber in his hand and turned into a huge black saber shadow. As soon as the black saber shadow appeared, it blasted toward Mo Qingyun with an indomitable aura. It was as if it could kill any god or immortal. Sun-incinerating, mountain-shattering saber. Faced with Fan Xian's attack, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate. He directly slashed out with the fiery silk saber in his hand. As soon as the fiery silk saber fell, it exploded with an even more terrifying power of flame. It turned into a terrifying fiery dragon saber ray and attacked Fan Xian's saber shadow. As the fiery dragon saber ray slashed out, a shocking power of ultimacy erupted from its body. This was the level 3 fire ultimacy. With the support of this ultimacy, the fiery dragon saber ray's power was immediately strengthened to the extreme. Level 3 fire ultimacy. Feeling the ultimacy on the fiery dragon saber ray, not only did Fan Xian's expression change, but even the expressions of Soul Puppet and the others changed. After Fan Xian's black saber shadow met the fiery dragon saber ray, it was instantly defeated and dissipated between heaven and earth. After the fiery dragon saber ray killed Fan Xian's saber, its attack did not decrease and continued to attack aggressively. Everyone attacked together. Seeing this, Soul Puppet no longer hesitated. He immediately reminded everyone and raised his hand to attack Mo Qingyun. As Soul Puppet attacked, Sherbin and the others also attacked to block Mo Qingyun's attack for Fan Xian. To Mo Qingyun's surprise, Hulai, Fan Fong, and the others did not attack with the others. After seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun nodded at the two of them and said, "I'll treat you two as my friends." From their actions, Mo Qingyun felt that they really intended to be friends with him. As soon as Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he slashed at Fan Xian with the fiery silk saber in his hand. He said coldly, Even if you attack together, you can't stop me from killing you. Bird of prey break. Mo Qingyun moved and turned into a stream of light. He charged at Fan Xian and pulled away from Soul Puppet and the others. Sun incinerating mountains, splitting saber. Mo Qingyun closing on Fan Xian and decisively slashed a saber at him. His movements were as smooth as flowing water. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun swung the fiery silk saber, a shocking aura erupted from his body. It was as though he had merged with heaven and earth. This was Saber Force. Saber. Saber Force, how terrifying. Feeling Mo Qingyun's Saber Force, the surrounding people's expressions immediately changed. Their faces were filled with awe and fear. Roar! While everyone was still in shock, the fiery silk saber's flame power flourished, and a terrifying fiery dragon saber ray erupted. As soon as this fire dragon saber light appeared, it shot towards Fan Xian with extreme speed, and it carried an irresistible force. Sky-splitting saber. Seeing Mo Qingyun attack, Fan Xian did not dare to hesitate. He immediately summoned his martial soul and displayed his martial soul superpower. After Fan Xian displayed his martial soul superpower, he became one with the saber in his hand. It was as though he had become one with the saber as he charged at the fiery dragon saber ray. Bang! When Fan Xian and the fiery dragon saber ray collided, a loud sound was immediately emitted. A shocking fluctuation of origin energy erupted from it. Pooh! When the fluctuation of origin energy was emitted, Fan Xian's body was immediately sent flying, and he spat out blood. Fan Xian was sent flying with a single move. After seeing this scene, everyone's expressions changed, and they revealed a trace of shock. They were slightly surprised by this outcome. Raptor break. However, at this moment, while everyone was shocked, Mo Qingyun's figure flashed again and charged at Fan Xian again. Die! Mo Qingyun's saber was extremely swift. Before anyone could react, it had forcefully slashed at Fan Xian's chest. Puchi! With a raise of his hand, the saber descended. Blood splattered everywhere. Fan Xian was killed. Seeing Mo Qingyun kill Fan Xian so cleanly, the surrounding people's expressions twitched, and they looked at Mo Qingyun with reverence. While everyone revealed reverence, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and gestured, taking Fan Xian's universe pouch into his hand. After that, Mo Qingyun charged towards the corpse bin and said coldly, "Next, it's your turn. Kid, don't go too far." As soon as he saw Mo Qingyun charge over, the corpse bin's expression twitched, and he let out a cold and indifferent voice as he controlled a black figure to charge at Mo Qingyun. This was a zombie that was similar to a puppet, and it was a unique ability of the Corpse Kingdom. However, the imposing aura of a zombie was even stronger, colder, and more terrifying than a puppet. It constantly emitted a bloody and corrosive aura. Merely relying on this isn't enough to stop me. When he saw the zombie charging at him, the corners of Mo Qingyun's mouth curled up, and he revealed a trace of a cold smile, and a strand of violet light flashed within his eyes. Force Ray. A violet light with a shocking, imposing aura shot out explosively from Mo Qingyun's eyes and blasted toward the corpse bin with extreme speed. Puchi. Following that, before the corpse bin could react, the I-Force ray pierced through his head. His eyes widened as he let out an unwilling cry. No, because Mo Qingyun displayed a powerful saber momentum earlier, it made him forget for a moment that Mo Qingyun still had a powerful trump card, the I-Force ray. After killing the corpse bin, Mo Qingyun raised his hand and gestured, keeping the corpse bin's universe pouch as well. He revealed a trace of a faint smile and said, "Broke even." After letting out a pleasantly surprised cry, Mo Qingyun revealed a faint smile and looked at Han Ying and the rest, saying, "That's all for today. I'll slowly take care of you guys when we reach Four Symbol City." With that, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and directly fled far away. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.